Hey, yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the Road podcast presented by DJ City and Beat Source. Big shout out to DJ City and Beat Source. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We've got DJ Never.
Yo, what's up?
We got DJ D Miles.
Yo, what's good?
We got Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
We got a special episode today, and I haven't talked to a lot of these motherfuckers. And, this is kind of like our Friendsgiving episode with Thanksgiving this week. And I know how much Goldie was talking to me earlier, how much he told me he's never had a Friendsgiving, so I wanted to I wanted to throw Goldie a Friendsgiving on Zoom. So, I mean, going down the line, we got Eddie McDonald here in Las Vegas. We got Eli Escobar in New York. We got Ross One in LA. We've got Rocticon in Seattle. We've got Dizza in Miami. Hopefully Raúlism will join from Miami as well. We got MoMA in LA. And we got Goldfinger in New York. What up, fellas?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
I never seen so many unemployed people in my life, yo. What's up with y'all, man? How's everything going? Are you guys gonna see like family for the holidays? Y'all laying low? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm here in LA. My parents are here in LA. They've been COVIDing with my brothers.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd just come here because there's no one in New York right now for me, not my family.
Yo, with the third wave coming in, are you just gonna stay in LA? You're gonna go back to New York?
I go back to New York next week because I go back to Africa in 2 weeks. So I gotta pick up a bunch of things and then get out.
Zanzibar.
Zanzibar, South Africa, maybe Rwanda, who knows?
Yo, so wait, Cali's getting hit hard, right? With this third wave. New York is getting hit hard.
Yeah, we're back in lockdown over here.
Miami's been going buck wild with Atlanta, right? In Georgia. Florida don't give a fuck, right, Diz? You've been going out?
Yeah, actually, every night I just go out. And COVID, actually, I don't. But really, it's really crazy in Miami. People are just wild and like they're just acting like nothing happened. Like nothing happened at all.
You guys have like the worst curfew, right? You guys have like a 7 p.m. curfew or some shit because y'all been wilding out.
No, we have a 12 p.m. curfew. I'm pretty sure.
So clubs aren't open in Miami?
Clubs are not open, but the ones that have outdoor areas are.
Because clubs are open in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta don't give a fuck.
Like Atlanta's just like going on.
Wait, how come the
Atlanta's
numbers aren't
like another world?
How come it's not going like the numbers aren't going crazy? Like everyone's out there. Like
what do you mean? Oh
no, the numbers
Atlanta?
are going crazy.
Are they?
Yeah,
out of control.
Yeah.
Oh really?
They just don't care. But you guys all live in states that have like blue governors and shit. Like our state, like really, they don't care.
Well, they just announced that what Eddie, you probably know this. Sisolak announced, our governor in Nevada just announced that there's basically 25% capacity now?
Places that were previously at like 50%, he knocked down to 25%, but not all places. You know, I mean, I took notes, but he's gonna watch it for 3 weeks. But I mean, he's not shutting the state down.
He can't.
Yeah, I mean, it would have. It's bittersweet. It's like there's the part of me that's like, unless you shut it the fuck down, you're not gonna see a change in the numbers. But then if you shut it down, I mean, it's gonna be catastrophic, I think.
Las Vegas would like fucking wild out and fuck him up. They would literally go to his house and fuck him up.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, restaurants and bars are now down to 25%. No more than 4 guests to a party now, which I think previously it was 6, I think, or 7. Maybe.
Yeah, it was 6. It was 6.
Reservations are required. There's no walk-ins allowed. Gyms got knocked down to 25%. Casinos, I believe, got knocked down to 25% as well. Public gatherings need to be 50 people or 25% of occupancy, whichever is less.
But why is the Cali governor shutting everything down in that state? Like, I don't understand. Why didn't he just have it at 25% capacity as well?
That I don't know. The cases are going up high right now. They're gonna go back to just curbside pickup and delivery only. Like all the restaurants are gonna be shut down. All the bars, everything's getting shut down by.
Yeah, Jamie, I think the benchmark is 4,000 cases per day.
Yeah.
And yesterday or the day before, they had 4,097. So when they cross that threshold, some new measures kick in. So that's my understanding.
I think it's going 3 weeks. For 3 weeks as well. I think they're gonna monitor for the next 3 weeks, and then see if they're gonna open back up like that.
Did y'all expect this shit? Did you guys know that this second, third wave was gonna come and it was gonna be a lot worse? Y'all were expecting this?
Yeah, they've been telling us about it since April. Like what every medical professional has been talking about this whole time, that it was going to come back in the fall. It just came back a lot faster and a lot stronger than they were expecting.
I was expecting it as well, but then like around September, October, I was getting like, oh shit, we might get through this shit a little bit. And then the numbers just started going crazy in November, and I was like, oh yeah, we're basically fucked till when? What do you like, February?
I will say, like, in Miami, it's kind of like, obviously the cases are going crazy, but in a way, it's weird. Like, it just kind of feels like, like controlled, kind of like, I don't know, like people are definitely getting sick for sure all the time. And the lines to like testing are longer and longer, but I don't know. I don't know if people are just like living life as if they're just supposed to get the virus or whatever, but it feels pretty normal in Miami. I gotta say, like, aside from clubs not being open till like 5 a.m, I don't know. Shit is just kind of like, everyone's kind of weird about eating indoors, but a lot of people are not. Like, you just drive by restaurants and shit, and mad people are like indoors eating, and people are definitely at the parties like not wearing their masks. Like, it's just kind of like normal life, I guess.
Yeah, I feel the same. I feel like everybody just now they kind of expect to just catch the shit and move on with their lives. They don't think they can catch it again, or it could jeopardize shit in the future.
Who's thinking like that? Who's thinking like that?
I feel like a lot of people are thinking like that.
Really?
I mean, listen to what this just said. He said that that's how people are living in Miami.
Yeah, but motherfuckers in Florida are crazy, yo.
What?
You know what I'm saying? Like, Georgia is the same shit, yo. Like, motherfuckers.
But Atlanta's the same way right now. Like, they're just illy-willy about shit.
I mean, Texas too. Like, if you look at Texas numbers, like Dallas, like the people we know in San Antonio.
Let me ask
Austin.
you guys a question, because you're all DJs.
Yeah.
So I've been getting booking requests in places like Dallas, Vegas, Tulum. Like, I've been getting booking requests. I turn them all down, but it's really crazy to me that there are places that are just like carrying on. And have you guys been getting booking requests and stuff?
Well, for me in Miami,
I've never gotten a booking request. So.
For me in Miami personally,
no for me.
I have, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I've done a gig or two already, but not like club shit, more like poolside stuff that it's just like, nobody's really doing anything. But
and is it marketed as like a
No. It's like Soho House shit, like not marketed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I've done some stuff like that.
But
in New York though, only in New York.
Right.
I just did Tower on Saturday. They don't have no more dance floor. They put like the couches in the middle of the dance floor.
But it's inside. It's
inside. Yeah.
Because
people are
like
definitely active. I mean, like the club, like 1-800-Lucky is like cracking, and mad clubs like that are just going. Like, lounges are like going, and people from out of town are definitely coming down here to DJ, and all like the Miami like hip hop guys are definitely going to like Texas and Atlanta and getting bags and like doing it.
Do y'all guys think that open carry has anything to do with the lockdown as far as what states open?
Oh, good question. Yeah, because Georgia's open. They can carry freely, and so is Florida, and so is Texas.
And so is here in Nevada.
So is Nevada.
Red states, yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's just red states.
Is open carry the same thing as concealed weapons license?
No, open carry means you can carry it in plain sight on your person. Concealed carry is a different format. You can have a gun, and it's not like you catching any beef about somebody saying something about it. But like if you go to Arizona, a guy in and out will have a pistol on his head.
Right.
Wait, so Goldie,
it has something to do with the lockdowns.
So Goldie, are you trying to say with the lockdowns, with the curfews and shit like that, they're implementing the curfews because in states that don't have open carry because people can't protect themselves?
My thought of it is that they can't stop you from going out if you have guns, so you have access. Like in the event it gets thick. You know what I mean? It's like, how can we really control everybody when people are packing? You know what I mean?
Right.
From my experience in Florida, like, I don't feel like people are so worried about guns because everybody has a gun. So you know, but it might be different in like Texas, where like I guess if you roll, you know, I guess it might be different, but I haven't really felt that effect in Florida. I think they just did it because our governor was like, fuck this, like I don't want to pay unemployment and I'm on the Trump train, so let's get it.
I mean, your governor is a piece of shit, but it all just comes down to who your governor is. It's if your governor is
a piece of shit too.
If your governor needs to make the president happy, you're going to be open regardless of the consequence. And if your governor cares about the people and wants to get this shit under control, he's going to take the measures that you need to do that. Otherwise, you're going to let it fucking go nuts. That's it. It's not. There's no like. You know,
where's Joe Maz? Why is
it easier? The prep for this group must have been a little less this week than last week.
Well, now
Joe's gonna be the surprise guest.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Joe on.
You didn't know?
So wait, I would say like out of I don't know. Yeah, I would say like maybe, I don't know, a lot of y'all disagreed with us and disapproved of us having Joe Maz on the episode, on the podcast last week. And you guys voiced it to me in private. Some motherfuckers went off on Twitter. Of course, we just got fucked up on Twitter from a lot of DJs.
The fans were mad. The fans were mad, bro.
I support having Joe Maz on. Thumbs up for me. I don't give a fuck. It's a totally reasonable opinion to think that we should open up. I don't necessarily think we should, but they're not going to fucking do anything for anybody. They're not going to help restaurants. They're not going to give people any fucking money. And so they're saying, like, stay in your house or you're fucked, but they're not going to fucking help you. So if we're like totally fucked, it is a reasonable opinion to be like, fuck this, they should let us open up.
That wasn't his opinion or his argument at all. His was masks don't work, masks make you sicker. Scientists are lying to you. His opinion wasn't just like, they got to give us some money, otherwise they got to let us open up. That was no part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I still support Joe Maz. I don't care. Joe Maz, like, making fun of Cosmo Baker on Twitter, I'm all for it. This guy.
Oh God.
Support Joe Maz because he's a troll, and you
like trolls.
You have a soft.
I didn't even realize who Joe Maz was.
Nobody did.
Perfect.
Ellie,
because I didn't realize he was the other guy in Discotheque.
Yeah. Him and Danny Days.
Yeah,
I think Joe Maz shit is just like, he's just an idiot. But like, idiots have to live, right? Like, you can't just like not have idiots, you know? Like, what are you gonna do?
He's not a stupid person. That's the thing. He's not dumb, you know? Like, he has the ability to retain all this information. He has the ability to do the mental gymnastics necessary to like cherry pick facts and quotes from months ago and try to apply them on a broad scale. Like, he's just basically been indoctrinated by, you know, right-wing media that clearly he just, you know, consumes that shit.
And also maybe he just took it as an opportunity to brand himself. You got to think about it. You got the vast majority of DJs who, you know, have a certain opinion.
Right. Like, did Joe Maz have a name before this?
Exactly.
Now, know who he was?
Now we all know.
I don't know. I'm asking you guys.
I feel like in the DJ community, he had a name.
Yeah, but
as a producer, he definitely had a name.
There was an actual DJ that DJ Trump's conference, right? Who was that guy?
Ravi Drums.
Ravi Drums.
Yeah.
Really? He did the inauguration.
Yeah.
You know, I used to DJ with him. He used to be on the drums. Scam? Yeah, he was on Scam. I used to DJ with him. He was on the drums and I was DJing. And he's Indian. So I think Sujit wanted to market it as like a Harold and Kumar act. So it would have been so it would have been me, you know, the Korean Asian dude, and then Kumar would have been Ravi Drums. But for some reason at that time, it was a big thing to book a DJ and a drummer. You know, obviously with the AM and all that shit. I think this was before.
Kumar, more like
DJ with him a bunch. He's a nice dude. He's given his reasons for why he did that. I'm sure most people would disagree with him.
He's got kids. He's got kids.
They're his valid reasons. That's also different than just like repeating conspiracy theories all day.
Did you know? Like, what do you think his bag was for doing? He did the inauguration for Trump, right?
Someone very close to me got offered that gig.
How much would they offer?
And it was a fucking bag. It was crazy.
Like 50K?
It was like, a lot.
It was a fucking bag. That's what he said.
In that ballpark, and then
Ross, you're not disclosing who the person is, so why can't you tell us?
I'm not going to do that. It was an immediate shutdown, obviously, and then someone else took the money.
Well, can I ask you guys, why did you think it was dangerous? So a lot of motherfuckers on Twitter said it was dangerous to have him on our podcast.
That's exaggerated.
Oh, it is.
Everyone knows how stupid fucking DJs are, and then DJs are so fucking stupid they might listen to this guy.
There's a reason why, like, Fox News and Breitbart have huge followings. Like, they can make an appealing argument, and especially if you're out of work, you don't necessarily understand why COVID isn't directly affecting your family. It's hearing someone just say, like, "Fuck this, open up." The government has a conspiracy against you. They're trying to make it so you can't work. That can appeal to people.
I don't believe the podcast gave him a platform that he didn't already have. Everybody knew his opinion. I mean, he's still at 13,000 followers on Twitter. You know what his stance is by now. The R.O.A.D podcast fan base is very niche. We know who, is tuning in. I didn't think it was giving him any kind of new platform that he didn't already have. He already has a voice. He's voiced it very loud and clear. And it's unfortunate, I know his body of work in the studio, got him a lot of respect and stuff like that. He's but I don't know. I think now he's being known more for his political views or outshining his music. But I don't feel it was irresponsible at all for R.O.A.D to have him on. He already, like I said, it's not like has 200 followers and then R.O.A.D podcast opened him up to thousands. He's probably got more people reading his tweets than, that episode might get listeners. I don't know.
So did that episode get more plays than your other episodes? Did you notice anything about
not drastically?
Not drastically. Okay. It wasn't like it tripled the numbers or anything or doubled numbers. In the end of it all, look, like Shecky and Joe Maz were going at it on Twitter, right? We've already had Joe Maz on the podcast. He was on there like 4 months ago. But I wanted to speak to him as a DJ and producer and just kind of show that he was kind of human, right? Because he was notorious on Twitter already as being just crazy, just spewing off shit. I didn't even know that he was spewing off like crazy George Floyd shit before. You know what I'm saying? But he was saying some crazy
Joe Maz
shit.
Was?
Yeah. So I didn't see any of that shit, but I got told later, obviously from the blowback. We got a blowback from the episode, and
but here's the thing, right? Like everybody that's like Joe Maz, they fall in line with that train of thought. Like you didn't have to see it to know that that was his stance. Like that's just kind of like the Joe Maz types are they're like the same as each other in the same way. Like we all have similar feelings. It's like our own echo chamber, like where we exist, and his own echo chamber.
I disagree. I don't think that's the way. If you're gonna have a debate, you have facts versus facts. You can have your opinion about it, but when one person in the debate is completely denying the truth, that's a dangerous debate. It's like, that's not a back and forth.
I don't really even think that's a debate. That's not really a debate if one person isn't. Yeah.
It's not a debate.
It's not based in real world. It's not based in science or fact or anything. It's just based in one person trying to convince another person that the lies he believes are lies. You know what I mean? And it didn't work and it doesn't work. And Shecky did an amazing job, with a really difficult job, but you can't debate someone who isn't going to be based on planet Earth when it comes to.
Yeah, but Ross, my point is,
facts.
if you listen to that episode and you were like, oh, if you fell in line with what Joe Maz thought, no matter what Shecky Green was saying, you weren't going to be convinced that Shecky Green was telling the truth. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's where we stand right now as a society, as painful as it is for us to deal with. It's just the truth. We all have family members and people that we know that are on that train, and you could tell them all day long, here's your reality and here's the actual reality, and they still will pick their reality versus the facts. It's just, I do see how it could be dangerous, but I also think that the R.O.A.D podcast is not I don't know. I don't think the standard that the R.O.A.D podcast has is some sort of academic standard where we should care.
No, it was good. Shecky did a good job. Like I
guys
said,
still
he did
say
as well as
pause on this show. This is fucking for troglodyte. Fine.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like our whole thing was that Shecky and Joe were going at it on Twitter. They said let's do this on an open forum, and then they picked R.O.A.D podcast. So I was like, I trust Shecky, and I was like, yo, Shecky is gonna debate with him or go back and forth with him. I'll give him my platform because I trust Shecky. And then Shecky got no blowback, but R.O.A.D got every blowback. Yeah, I was just like, I wanted you guys to kind of. Ellie texted me, and Ellie like hardly ever texts me, but he was like, "Yo, what?" He texted me like, "Yo, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Like having this guy on there, you know what I mean?" And even when
you see what happens if you go against the liberal consensus? Everybody freaks out, man. Respect to Joe Maz, fighting the power. I love it.
Hey, yo, by the way, we got Raul.
It's impossible to have a serious conversation.
Speaking of the power,
Raul, what up, man?
Oh, Ism in the building.
We got
the other
Raul.
thing is, I do wish that combo for a second would have. I wish Shecky or someone would have confronted him about Black Lives Matter, Breonna Taylor. Like, you got to kind of expose that this isn't just something that's a concern about coronavirus. This is it's a conspiracy theory around everything, and it's about law enforcement.
Go in that direction.
It's a heavily there's a heavy white supremacist overtones to all of it. It's just. It's not cool, and that was the one thing where I was kind of like, I wish we could have gotten into kind of a little deeper about how this isn't just about wanting to go back to work. There's a lot bigger thing here, and it's about these white men. These kind of like angry white men personality types who believe this shit, like Rock.
You're totally right, but I will say, like the real question is like, all right, Joe Maz is just like the forward-facing DJ of this, but like. How many club owners and people that we probably deal with on a regular basis probably feel just like Joe Maz, like people that we get texts from and shit. And it's like
a lot.
Sure. And like, to me, it's like, I don't know, like the world that we exist in as DJs, like just because of how much like making money is kind of like entangled with like kind of being a piece of shit in America. Like you kind of like, I mean, it's just, I don't know, like Joe Maz is obviously, sorry if you're listening to this dude, but you're an idiot. But like how many other people are also idiots in our world? And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's going to dunk on Joe Maz and they're going to go take a check from some fucking scumbag Trumper as soon as we reopen. This shit sucks. Talk about something else.
That's why Rock the Con is important in the DJ community.
Joe Maz is so bad. Joe Maz is so bad. And fucking so-and-so fucking club owners like signing that check come summer 2021. Y'all taking that motherfucker.
Well, yo, I started feeling bad for him. Not bad, like I just felt like maybe it was like he just seemed like he was under a spell a little bit, Like
as I was listening to it, I didn't get the feeling that he was like some blatant racist or something like that. And he had a couple of points that it seemed like were debatable. It wasn't like he was just off his rocker. He seemed like he was, well, I don't know his background from Twitter and all that other stuff. I'm just hearing about him for the first time on your podcast. Mm-hmm. But he didn't seem like he was like a maniac or something like that. You know what I mean? Just seemed like you guys.
I think that's what makes it even maybe more potentially dangerous if you give people a platform to kind of like, I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way. Give people a platform to like basically spread lies and misinformation about something that's making people sick, and they're not crazy necessarily, or they don't come across crazy. It gives people, and like I said, when I called you crooked, I mean, I don't take this as an insult, but I kind of thought that maybe there was going to be a potential for I wasn't sure like how popular the podcast was, or like how broad of a audience it was going to reach.
Right.
If you're really doing this podcast for like a niche group of people who already knew what that dude was about or whatever, that's kind of different.
I thought it was responsible that you guys had your platform and allowed that, back and forth to where you can, basically give this guy a chance and, you guys can be in opposing sides to it. So I wasn't really mad at that. And some points, I'm thinking that just because it hasn't happened or because we haven't been faced with it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong. Like, how do you guys feel about the vaccines? How do you feel about mandatory vaccines?
I'm ready. Put that shit in my veins. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm European. I take whatever the government gives me.
Let it get through the FDA, and
Yeah, I mean, I trust
Prove it
scientists
safe.
more than I trust conspiracy theory people on Twitter. You know.
I'll be in the
It looks
second
like-
half of people that take it. I don't want to be in the first half. I'll be in
I went to my doctor the other day, and he was telling me about it. He was like a 95% success rate is like we take flu vaccines every year, and that's like a 65% success rate. So 95% success rate is pretty amazing.
Does everybody take the flu shots every year?
There was
I
a
do.
swine flu vaccine here in the States in the 70s. In the mid 70s, they rolled out a swine flu vaccine. And after about 25% of the population had been vaccinated, they cut it off because it was paralyzing some people.
Really?
And then people
Really?
were dying and stuff.
Wow.
So they cut it out. It's not that long ago. They rolled out a vaccine and thought it worked, and it fucking killed people. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
going to happen, but I'm not taking that
Yeah.
shit first.
Right.
I'll wait. I'll
Yeah.
stay in the
Honestly,
house. I
consolation.
don't want
I
to
mean,
work
you
anyway.
won't get it first anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying there's going to be a rollout
Yeah.
plan, and you're not going to
Yeah.
be the
It's
first
gonna take a
person to
minute.
get it.
No, and like my
Yeah.
boy's a firefighter, and they're getting theirs like in a week and a half. Like
Yeah, my
first
doctor told me he was getting his like this week, or he was
Wow.
supposed
Yeah.
to be getting it. Yeah.
And nobody's going to force you to get a vaccine, but you may not be able to do certain things if you don't have it in for the sake of public safety. You know what I mean? So no one's going to like come knocking on your door and be like, "Have you got this?" But if you try to go into a very crowded place or get on an airplane, they might want to make sure that you're
Joe brought
protected.
that up on the podcast. Would you guys be cool with that? Like if you couldn't go to a concert without having your vaccine records, or hopping on a plane, or doing certain things, going to a football game, like you'd be fine with that?
That's the private owner of those establishments' decision, basically, on that.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no chance that'll ever happen in America. Maybe in like
You're not going to need a
Canada,
vaccine
maybe
to go
in
to like
France.
Sturgis, some shit like that. So you're just going to have to pick new events to go to. You know?
I think the only thing that
Florida
would've-
isn't going to make you do it. I mean, like you're going to be able to go to Dolphins games. There's
Yeah,
no question.
for sure. You can go to Dolphins game right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Shit.
I think the only thing that would have prevented me from actually, having the vaccine is whoever was in office distributing that shit. Like if Trump was in office,
It has nothing to do with him.
I know, but I don't know for some
the people
reason.
who are
For some
the
reason,
people who are the people who have developed the vaccine have actually made a statement saying they're separating themselves from Trump. He's trying to take credit, but it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah, well, they weren't a part of Operation Warp Speed, right? Is that what they were saying? For some reason, I just don't trust him with like handling of any of that shit. So I would have been like, "Yo, I'm not taking y'all motherfuckers."
But also that mistrust of the entire scientific community of the world, not just the United States, that's part of the danger of the conversation you have with this guy, because that they're planting that seed in people that you shouldn't trust your doctor, that you should trust him and his opinion over what your doctor is telling you. Like that's some crazy shit, and they don't come right out and say it, but that's the underlying thing. Every, scientist, every government official, everyone is trying to fuck you over. It's a grand conspiracy among emergency rooms, that are making you wear masks.
Have you met someone like Joe Maz? I mean, someone who like actually believed all that shit that he was peddling. I've never met anyone
have
like
you
that.
met
around with a
someone
person
like
like
Joe
that.
Maz?
Yeah.
Miami.
In Miami.
Oh yeah, I met people like that. Hell yeah. They don't even believe it. Really, you see the smirk when they'll like pop off with that flat Earth shit. I knew flat earthers in LA, all types of people.
Wow.
It's just nuts and having a good time. The flat Earth stuff, that's good stuff, man. You got to get into that. Who's the flat earther? B.O.B.'s the flat earther, right? B.O.B. the rapper or whatever.
Didn't the Jizza just announce it on Twitter that he believes in the flat Earth?
No,
probably. Flat Earth shit's fire, man.
Moon landing, fakers.
What was it with there was a big hip hop artist that came out as a flat earther.
Yeah,
It was
Pete Rock.
B.O.B.
Was it Pete Rock?
Pete Rock is his social
Maybe.
media is he's gone somewhere.
Pete Rock
I don't know.
is crazy on Instagram and shit.
He's been in the basement.
Still my favorite producer of all time.
He's been in the
I mean,
basement.
Raul and I know mad people who are definitely like on like deep in the Trump train, but really it's just like they don't want to pay taxes. So they'll just say whatever it takes to like not pay those taxes, Especially in the Cuban community here. They're already like super anti-communist and shit. So like, and they think that anything like left of Trump is communist. So like, obviously, like, you know, the real issue is taxes. I honestly bet for someone like Joe Maz, it kind of is that too. But you know, whatever. We don't have to talk about him anymore.
The other day, I went to get coffee at a Cuban coffee shop, and they were playing like Cuban radio. Yo, it's the crazy shit. It's like Alex Jones on meth. It's crazy. Just the shit that they're talking about. It's insane. Like in Spanish, it's all in Spanish. So I was just like drinking coffee and listening to these guys like play the shit on the radio, and it was just like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like I was just like blown away. It's like Alex Jones on. I can't even describe it. You just have to listen to it. I think they're gonna pull the plug on these dudes because it's just they're straight up want to start like a revolution here.
Yeah. Miami's actually
the Miami Cubans have always been very right wing, right? I mean, always.
Well, actually, there's a documentary that just came out called 537 about the Gore and Bush election. Yeah. And it kind of gives you like a real oversight. Like Miami Cubans were actually starting to go progressive until Elian Hernandez happened. And Gonzalez, sorry. And once Elian happened, like because they sent them back to Cuba, they were like, fuck Democrats for life. And that's basically it. Like Elian literally turned like what's her name? The Attorney General. Come on,
Janet Reno?
Janet Reno is like single-handedly responsible for like radicalizing like Cubans to like extreme right wing.
It's
fucked up.
The only Hispanic group that's like right wing, really.
That's not true. Venezuelans, Colombians, Argentinians, they're all fucking mad right wing because
you could even say Nicaraguan. I'm Nicaraguan, and but they're also like Cubans do have a lot of political power, so that's why they do matter more. I mean, Nicaraguans could do all they want, and no one gives a shit.
What I noticed from after this whole Joe Maz thing is like I didn't realize how fucking crazy some liberals can be though, like on Twitter. Like I thought it was like really, like I've never experienced that shit, but it's pretty it's kind of nuts. I considered myself
if you don't think the way that they think, they'll like abolish you. They'll scream at you. They're the same as the crazy right wing people.
Right.
They're not.
See, I thought
I didn't even
a liberal.
vote this year. I want nothing to do with any of it. I'm grilling, man. Fuck this shit.
I kind of considered myself a liberal, but I guess I'm not because I was like, yo, these motherfuckers are kind of nuts, yo. Like, they're really on some next level shit. Like, you know when comedians say that they never want to like do college shows and shit because like everyone's so sensitive in universities and colleges now. Like, you know, they have like microaggression and all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I was just weirded out by the whole experience, man. I've never seen that shit where like.
But Crooked, I think you're talking about Twitter.
Yeah, I was just about to say you can't judge any group of people based on your interactions on Twitter.
Or YouTube.
Twitter's just a place where people go to you know act out. And
I wanted to talk to you guys. Oh, well, do you want to bring this up, Mo? You were kind of talking about this. Your favorite new app, Clubhouse.
Your new app that you invested in.
Wait, you did?
No. I was invited to Clubhouse by a few friends of mine who swore by it, and I just couldn't do it. And what Clubhouse is, in essence, it's kind of like Zoom without the video, and you can just stumble into like random Zoom calls without the video. It's all audio. It's essentially all conference calls, and it runs the gamut from people just spewing verbal diarrhea about shit they don't know about to a room that's got like 4 or 5 celebrities talking about dating culture and hip hop culture. So it could be very interesting. And in the middle, you could have like actual experts talking about their disciplines, whether it's IT or music industry or investments or whatever. And I guess the way they curate it is that it's invite only. So I think it's still beta. So you have to get an invitation to join. But that's where the curation stops. Once you're in the Clubhouse, there's no curation. And, anyone can start a room about anything. And granted, it's a pandemic, but it's amazing how much spare time people have and how much they're willing to listen to other people talk and listen to the sound of their own voices all day long. You know what I mean? So that's Clubhouse in a nutshell.
Was it meant to be a dating app or just like a social
Nah,
app?
it was started. I think it was like some Silicon Valley type of joint, super exclusive. Oh, so that's another caveat. The exclusivity is why people want in on it. You know, it's extra corny because people will be in a room in Clubhouse and maybe there's a conversation between, I don't know, you know, Oprah and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that happens in Clubhouse within this exclusive platform. And then they'll go to Twitter and they'll be like, yo, last night's convo between Oprah and DJ Mustard was amazing. Just to kind of like reinforce the fact that I'm in and you're out, you fucking loser. So it's just corny.
Can I ask a question? Since it's like conference style, like if Oprah and Mustard are talking, can you like interrupt them and like promote your mixtape or something?
So every room, whoever starts the room, right, is like the lead administrator. Right. So let's just say, let's take for instance, this is a room, right? And me and Dizza started a room to talk about Cubans in Miami and their right-wing tendencies, right? Mm-hmm. So me and Dizza are talking. Neva joins Clubhouse or logs in, and he's like, "Oh, Mo and Dizza are in a room. Let me hop in there." So he listens, and he's in a lower tier of people who are just listeners, right? Now Jamie comes in. And Jamie goes, what the fuck does Mo know about Latino culture? I want to say something. And Jamie can put his hand up, and I have the privilege to allow him to speak or to just keep him in the audience.
So it is like regulated.
Wow.
It's regulated in that sense. You can invite him up, right? And like 2 weeks ago, you had, 21 Savage, Meek Mill, Metro Boomin, in a room with like 8 girls from Atlanta, and they're talking about men versus women. And you heard some of the most ignorant shit you ever heard, but also some of the most hilarious shit you ever heard, right? So like the entertainment value was through the roof, but outside of that, it's just a lot of just nonsense, So they got to figure out a way to curate it better.
But ultimately, they don't want it to like spread wide open, pause, and like have everyone be able to.
Well, they do because the end game of all these apps is to, unless you go to a subscription model, you want to get as many users as possible so you could do an IPO, right? Mm-hmm. But the minute they open it up, the minute it's no longer beta, then it's no longer exclusive, and the minute it's no longer exclusive, then it's just a fucking conference call, right? That anyone can join.
They can make it a paid thing, like they give certain people free passes. Yeah, because that's how like some of those dating apps have like stayed successful. Is like,
the dating apps are fucking crazy, dude. Tinder is crazy. Boost used to be like $3. They're fucking $7 now. Fucked up. Don't get me fucking started on these motherfuckers. They just introduced Platinum, named after Trump and Ice Cube's Platinum plan. Tinder Platinum. You have to get it. If you don't get it, you can't get any fucking companionship, as they say in the industry.
Rock.
Yeah.
How are you? So you're on Tinder right now. You're like dating shorties on Tinder. How do you do that shit during the pandemic? How do you do that?
I get in my fucking car and I go meet them.
Yeah, but like,
there's no protocol. Is what he's trying to say, Rock.
I mean, I know what he's trying to say.
What is it like, yo?
Are you spraying them down with Lysol? Is what he's trying to say.
Remember? You think a little COVID's gonna stop Rock?
That's what he wants to ask you, Rock.
Taking the gamble procedure.
I'm saying, wait.
Dates. I'm gonna answer your question. I know what you're asking. I don't go on a lot of dates. I went out on I go on one every 10 days or something like that. Maybe I was seeing someone for a little while, but it didn't really work out. But you go out. You get a coffee, you wear a mask while you get your coffee, you go for a walk in a fucking park, you're talking so your mask's kind of down, but you're not like, you're walking side by side, it's not that big a deal. And like, you don't try to bang them right away, or you don't like try to make out or anything. You just like kind of feel it out and see if you like each other, and then you like keep doing that. And eventually, at some point, humans have needs, Richard. But no, you can't. You can't really do. There's a lot of stuff you can't do. Like, there's nothing you can do. You go on a fucking walk. You get a coffee and you go on a walk. That's it. And it's fucked up now that it's winter too. So basically, you just do a lot of texting, and then maybe you're like, okay, like I can tolerate texting with you for like 2 weeks. I guess we should meet.
It's a longer process though, right? To smash, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I'm in Seattle. I don't really fit in here exactly. So.
Where do you
spin, touch, and go.
Where do you fit in?
Hilarious.
I'll tell you what. I don't like Los Angeles, but I had a squad, in a loyal, cool ass squad, down ass squad in Los Angeles, and
like a smash squad,
friends, whatever you want to call it.
Right. Okay.
Since I left LA, it's just been like I'm like a cowboy in the desert, the occasional meal, looking for the oasis. It's been a little rough.
I was just wondering because I was like, in the 90s, like everyone, it was like AIDS was everywhere, HIV was everywhere. So motherfuckers would just look at him. She's like, yo, she don't look like she has AIDS. They used to say that shit.
Oh yeah, like in Virginia. In Virginia.
Yo, guys, it's been fun.
Yeah, like,
crazy.
Well, sorry, Dad. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. But the fucking app. What I started off saying is the apps are crazy. You can't go out, right? You can't go out right now. And even before you went out, people aren't really out to meet people and fuck. People are out to dance and have a good time with their girlfriends. The sexual energy of the fucking pre-internet nightlife is gone. It's not there like it used to be in most places. So now it's even worse. There's nowhere to go. So the apps, they've got you by the balls and you have to pay. And they're like raising the prices and making it harder and making you spend more money to get in front of people.
And to your point, Rock, actually, I feel like that's what might end up happening with Clubhouse. It's going to end up being like this kind of pseudo dating app because, look, I can find out so much more about people. I can hear them talk in depth about this, that, and the third. And I can really understand what Shorty's about versus just like, 100-character tweet or some Instagram photos.
It's bullshit, yo. That Clubhouse shit is bullshit. It's another gatekeeper type of thing. Oh, this is cool. I'm here. I'm exclusive. It's bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm with you on this one. I'm 100%. It's lame. It's lame as fuck. You got DJs who are doing like cool things though. They're kind of like running a radio show, if you will. Like, yo, they'll be on their Twitter. Like, yo, today noon, join me on Clubhouse, and I'm playing this, that, and the third. And you can just go to their room, and it's just them DJing, right? But the issue is that as something like that becomes more popular, let's say it gets on a really big scale like Instagram Live or Twitch, then the record industry is going to come for that too, because that's essentially is an illegal radio broadcast.
Where are we at with that? Like, what's going on with all that stuff? Where have they cracked down? Where is it open?
I think the only thing that's left is Twitch, and you could kind of stream live, but the rerun, all the music is muted out.
I thought they cracked down on
has it kind of died down? Like DJs doing all these live sets on.
Well, they shut down Facebook Live. They shut down Instagram Live. YouTube Live is virtually impossible to get the copyright clearance. And I think Twitch is the only thing that's left. And I've put up some stuff on Instagram that actually Crooked has edited for me. And it's all like original production, original remixes. That's the only way shit's going to fly. Like, the minute something is like on Spotify or iTunes and it's part of your sets, they're just going to take it down.
I heard Bandcamp is launching a Bandcamp Live. And I think Mixcloud has the live, but it's just not good. Like, it's not ready. It's like,
well, but the difference between Bandcamp, Mixcloud, and everything else is that they're not social media, right?
Right.
Like people are used to just hanging out on Facebook or Twitter. And people don't just hang out on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
You go there, you get your music, and you're out.
Bandcamp has like an app. I don't know how many of you guys have the Bandcamp app on your phone, but it kind of does. It has a feed. You have followers. You can like look at other people's collections. So it kind of like has a social media vibe to it, but I just don't think that many people know about it.
And it's probably as interesting as Venmo. Why is Venmo social media? Like, why do I know that Jamie paid D Miles,
Well, yeah, but I know that's stupid.
For like eggplant emoji.
No, that's dumb. But the Bandcamp app I really like, and I'm not shy about like lurking on someone if they bought something I think is dope, then I don't mind lurking at their collection because there's so much you can discover on Bandcamp, especially like bootlegs and things like that. So you could like look at someone's collection and if they have like similar tastes as you could discover music.
No, not gonna hold you. That's dope. That's dope. I'm not even gonna hold you. That's dope.
But to Ellie's point, like the thing is, like, if you're not like a music head, like, why would you be on Bandcamp? You know, versus, like,
exactly.
Instagram Live, like, you know, my mom is on Instagram, like, you know, like everybody can just stumble into a room and watch somebody.
So with the I mean, I feel like I've seen some live DJ sets still going on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
But playing devil's advocate, we thought a lot of people weren't going to move over to Twitch. And I know mad civilians who have Twitch accounts who know about DJ Get Live, you know, who know about R.O.A.D podcast, people who are not a part of the DJ community or the music industry. So
yes, but MoMA, I think Twitch is a bigger phenomenon because Twitch is basically like YouTube but live. It's not just music, like it's video games, it's TV shows doing like for example, like like The Masked Singer, like a random show on fucking ABC will have like an after show like thing on Twitch. Like everybody that's like doing regular shit is on Twitch doing their regular shit, versus like Bandcamp is like super targeted towards music heads and people who want music. Twitch is targeted towards literally like anybody. Like you could watch like the Howard Stern like post game show on Twitch type shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Facts.
Twitch is Amazon too, so they're putting money into it. And fucking Bezos dick dodged the question. Congress asked him about like the music rights on Twitch or something like that. He's just like, oh, I don't know about that. It's like, the fuck you don't know about that? They're gonna dick dodge it as long as they can just to get more and more people in. And they're gonna push the boundary as long as they can and like try to hold off the music industry for as long as they can.
Right.
Until they can get some type of deal done or like whatever. So, and they're you know, Amazon throws money at shit because they can.
What is the like a regular person's relationship with Bandcamp though? Because I've actually met some people that actually buy music on Bandcamp and shit. I just don't know what type of person does that shit.
Bandcamp is exposing lots of underground music in all different genres.
Right.
So I don't think it would be one type of person. Because if you like log on to the main, I go on there every day.
It's crooked. It's people that don't live in fucking Las Vegas. You know what I mean? It's not strippers. You know, it's like girls in Ohio that want to know about like a cool band or like cool techno.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You know, like they're in on something. It's like a suburban kind of indie thing.
Yeah, it's like an indie. It's almost like
you could buy something, right? You could buy like people's albums.
So Bandcamp cuts out the middleman. There's no there's no digital distributor involved. Artists are just putting their stuff directly up. So Bandcamp, they take a small fee. They take
fucking 20%, dude. They crush.
Yeah,
they're making a fortune.
I feel like it's almost like an indie label, but it's not. It's like, you know, and like, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people go on there because they don't want to hear the mainstream shit on like streaming platforms.
Yeah, it's just a digital marketplace for independent music. A lot of it is not on the DSPs.
Yeah,
some of it is on the DSPs as well as Bandcamp. But let's just say you do more than
DSPs. Digital streaming
providers. It's basically Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So if you're a streaming person, then most likely you have no use for Bandcamp, even though they have a streaming app. But if you buy music for whatever reason, whether you're a DJ or whatever, then you have the option.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The thing that's interesting and kind of annoying is if you download the Bandcamp Artists app, you have that one too. So you can look at your stats, right?
Yeah.
So like, for example, so I'll look at my stats from like 1 week, and it'll be like 11,000 plays and 23 sales. So I think like, you know, the streaming app, people are using it obviously to listen, and but they're still not necessarily solving the problem of people not valuing music as far as something that they want to buy.
Yeah, because I can listen to your whole fucking song without buying for it.
Exactly.
I can just put it on the preview and play the whole thing. I don't have to.
As an artist, you have a choice to say something like allow users to listen to a song all the way through twice, and then after that they have to buy it. Yep.
That's dope.
How many? And they not only where it's coming from and not only the plays, but then they'll break down the plays. Like this percentage of people listen to the whole song, this percentage of people listen to half of it, and then this percentage of people just scroll through it real quick. So then you could be like, all right, this percentage of people wasn't really feeling my album, and these amount were, it's cool.
But like, yo, how many motherfuckers are actually making a living off of like on Bandcamp? Is this like impossible? It's damn near impossible, no?
No.
Yeah.
People who release a lot of music consistently.
Yeah.
They can make a couple racks, 2-3 racks a month if you keep pumping out the music. You know what I mean?
There's also become like a new generation of kids who are like this one producer, for instance, Knowledge. This dude is a Bandcamp monster. Like he releases like just nonstop beat tapes every week.
Wow.
And his main following, I would actually think, is on Bandcamp. So I think he's probably making a really good amount of money off of that. Like he established himself on Bandcamp before any other platform. You see what I'm saying? And then he put out some stuff on Stone's Throw because they found out about him through Bandcamp.
Black Milk is on Bandcamp, and he sells a lot of records on there as well.
And he's been making music for like 20 years now.
Yeah, you 2,000 dedicated fans to spend $50 a year, you're making $100,000.
Ellie, you just released an album, right?
Yep.
I love that shit. Yep. I love the video you put out and the beat and the shit was like all New York. It was like old video footage. Was it like VHS high A cam footage from like the 80s or 90s or whatever?
Yeah, I was just like I was sick, and so I was just like I had COVID, so I just was
really?
I was just like laid up for like a week. It wasn't like bad. I had a real mild case, but I was just resting, trying to take care of myself.
That's right. You said you didn't even know where you got it from because you've been like super safe everywhere, right?
Super safe, like ridiculous safe.
Wow.
Like when I hear MoMA talking about how he's flying here and there or whatever, like that like I've been like spending like 2 months trying to debate if I want to go visit my dad in Puerto Rico, and I still can't like decide, Mm-hmm. So I've been like extra crazy careful, and I still got it. So who knows?
No, but I will say international airports is actually some of the safest places. And
I agree with you.
Conspiracy
flying is, and the statistics show that flying is really safe. Yeah, it's more just like contributing to the. I know. I just have like hang-ups about contributing to the human traffic. Just being part of the whole like kind of shrugging off of what they're asking us to do. I don't know. And then also is like being like, I don't know, just whatever. I'm just like I'm on the really extreme side of caution is what I would say, Mm-hmm. But then again, I still got it. So
but now you can kind
anyway,
of
but I was just going to tell you that when I was sick, I was watching all these old YouTube videos because I was just bored. So I was watching all these YouTube videos of like old New York stuff.
Yeah.
And then I started just like making beats, sampling records because I was here like with nothing to do. So sampling records and kind of like making music to soundtrack that stuff. So
that's dope.
Anyway, yeah,
that's fucking dope. I loved it, man. That all the footage just reminded me, man, just growing up and shit in New York, and it was dope.
Mm-hmm.
And the music was matching it like perfectly. Kind of had like that little 90s vibe in it a little bit. It was dope.
Right. Man. Yeah, and I'm not like a super big like I don't really like to like rely on nostalgia, but for this one project I was like, let's go with it.
And it's available in your Bandcamp, right, Ellie?
Yeah, it's on my Bandcamp. It's not out yet. Like it's gonna be out on all the stuff. Why are you laughing, Rob?
No, it's just funny because we're just talking about Bandcamp. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, it's out on Bandcamp and it's gonna be out on all the other things later. What happened?
Why are you worrying about what I'm doing?
Maybe no, I thought you were laughing at me.
It's called There Are Ghosts Everywhere in New York City, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Hey, yo, I wanted to ask y'all, did y'all get a chance to catch the Gucci Man versus Jeezy battle?
I did.
Raise your hand if you saw it.
Fell asleep on most of it.
I didn't watch it, but if you're on Twitter or like if you watch your Instagram stories, you get a real-time play-by-play.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually watch it, but I got the play-by-play.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I really love Versus. Versus is like my favorite thing that happened this whole lockdown or whatever, COVID. But I missed that one because I was out. Can you watch them like anytime you want? Like watch the archive of the Versus?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think there's a recap on Revolt TV on YouTube if you want to watch it.
They got like the most views so far on that one, right?
Yeah.
They beat Monica and Brandy, I think.
They got like 1.8 million.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Is that Outkast Talk About Quest thing happening?
They're saying that it's gonna happen.
Just talking about it. The next one is T.I. Lil Wayne. Next one is
T.I. and Lil Wayne.
Oh, really? Wow.
But wait, there's gonna be an Outkast Tribe Called Quest one?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're planning to do that one.
Oh wow.
That's what they're claiming.
Look at Ellie's face.
It doesn't make any sense.
What's that face? What's the face though? Is it?
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it kind of does because they're. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense if you're
until you start to think
apples
about
to
it, right?
apples. It doesn't, but in the zeitgeist, it does. You know what I'm saying?
Three perfect albums.
Yeah.
Each group, their first 3 albums are perfect, and then they kind of have some albums, but with good songs on them.
The young people
song for song, it's a problem.
Like, LOL, nobody wants to hear this stuff. Song for song, because like the hits that Outkast have are like so massive.
Right. Like in the comments when you're watching it live in the comments, the Outkast is gonna take it. Yeah, that's true.
Of course, yeah. Like what song does Tribe have that's gonna like?
But you know what's interesting about Tribe? I think Tribe has gotten so much more popular as their music has aged. You know what I mean? Like I not necessarily with like young kids, but just in general, like I feel like they're looked at like I don't know how you guys feel like people my age who are here, but like when Tribe first came out, it wasn't like a thing of like, oh, they're the best out of the native tongues. It wasn't just like a given.
Nah,
J-Law was.
I thought so.
Nah, you're I don't know who said that. When Jungle Brothers first, you thought so right away?
No, after the second album, I thought so. Yeah.
Maybe after the second album, but what I mean was like when they first came out, I was like more like Jungle Brothers had the most club records.
Yeah, I agree.
And J-Law had the most creative albums, and Tribe was like kind of like the younger brothers, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But
yeah.
now,
Tribe had better beats. I thought they had better beats, and they had for the most part, their shit was more complex. Their beat wise was more complex than the rest of those guys.
So like right away, you were kind of like, all right, they're the best ones out of the native tongues.
Right away, and to tell you the truth, when Q-Tip was on those Jungle Brothers songs on the early tip, I thought he was part of Jungle Brothers, so I thought automatically that he was better because he was featuring on those songs.
I think I understand what Ellie is saying though. When Tribe first came out and we all fell in love with Tribe, they were just one of the best hip hop groups. With the benefit of hindsight, they're like the best hip hop group of all time, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think we would have said that in the early 90s. We're just like, yo, it's Tribe is killing it. Wu-Tang is killing it. Public Enemy, Eric B. Rakim, Boogie Down Productions.
Brand new.
With the hindsight of like 30, 40 years later, you're like, that was the best hip hop group of all time, in my opinion.
I don't know. I'll tell you what.
I was EPMD Tribe Called Quest the whole way. EPMD Tribe Called Quest.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I didn't I was in love with them from the minute they came out too. I'm just saying I didn't at the time, and it might just be because they came last. It didn't seem like an obvious thing right away to me that they were gonna kind of end up being like the most famous with the most selling records.
Ellie hates Tribe Called Quest.
There's
one thing we can take from this.
I feel like Tribe punctured the middle class, like white world first, and not first, but in a bigger way than any other group from that era. Besides
middle class white Ohio America.
Tribe just ended up having bigger records. So inevitably that happened, right?
Tribe was the first.
I think De La did.
Because they had Me, Myself, and I, which was like on MTV regular rotation.
That was like
De La had a suburban sensibility that like white people gravitated towards, but it was not foreign enough for them to be like, oh my God, what's this? Whereas Tribe is a little further away from suburbia. And
mystery, you're saying?
It's what?
Little mysterious, a little bit?
Yeah,
more?
there's like, when you're like a white suburban kid, there's like something about De La that's like, absolutely yes. Like, these guys are black, but I share this sort of like sensibility and this kind of fucked up weird humor and the whole thing. It feels much closer. Tribe is much more.
I think what you're trying to say is that white people have an inner city fetishism.
Yes.
And you don't have that with De La Soul.
Tribe kind of was married to smoothness, but it's still like out there enough for white folks to be like, oh my God. Like white people have always been Tribe crazy. Always been Tribe crazy. In my experience.
I mean, the sports apparel,
But you say white people have always been Tribe crazy?
Yes.
Even
first the first album was very like a New York album. I don't really feel like people caught on to Tribe.
After the first
second album, maybe.
Yeah.
Midnight, like by the time Midnight Marauders came around, white people were like Tribe crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and like it was just like this is a group you have to like because of like whatever.
There's also there's like 3 years in there where like it depends on your age, and it's honestly like if you were 15, 14, 13.
Definitely.
And for me, I was a little too young for People's Instinctive Travels, and even Low End Theory, I was like 12, But then when Midnight Marauders came out, I was right in prime adolescent, impressionable. It was game over, and then you go back and you appreciate from there, but. And De La Soul, like if you listen to like Balloon Mind State and Is Dead, those are almost like experimental. I mean, you kind of have to be a little bit more mature to really appreciate Balloon Mind State. Like I think, for me at least, they're like really incredible like works of whatever. Like listening to jazz or listening to something.
When Balloon Mind State came out, I remember feeling like. Most people, like the first two De La albums, everybody loved. I mean, I'm talking about like in New York. The first two albums, everyone loved them. You heard the records on the big shows and some of them in the clubs or whatever. But when the third album came out, I felt very aware that like a lot of other people weren't really checking for it. Like it like the fan base was like kind of like
a little bit.
You know what I mean?
Because when that album came out, Wu-Tang came out that same year.
Yeah, it was like they didn't have a chance.
And then Midnight Marauders too, which was
and
like
Doggy
so
Style.
obvious.
It was the year of Doggy Style and Enter the 36 Chambers. Like Balloon Mind State wasn't gonna survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but it was an amazing album, a really good album.
Wu-Tang.
Like,
I gotta
that's when
say,
Prince Paul started being less involved, right?
No, he was involved. It's the Stakes is High album that he wasn't involved.
Stakes is High, yeah.
Yeah, he dropped out.
I gotta say, it was one of the weirdest things this year because I'm not a big like Wu head, but I mean I like it, it's fine. I just wouldn't listen to it. But I felt like in that verses, he fucking smoked Premier.
Definitely did. He definitely
it was amazing.
He definitely did.
And
his sound was fucked up.
Not prepared for that. I was like, oh my God, I don't even listen to Wu-Tang and he's smoking this shit. It was crazy.
So do you listen to Wu-Tang now?
Smoked him.
After that, no, but I would.
But Goldie, don't you think that Premier was holding back?
Nah,
everything he had.
He did play everything.
He played everything he had.
It depends who you are. Like I'm like the kind of guy who's like, yo, when's he gonna play the 7th song on the Group Home album? But he's not gonna play that for verses.
Right.
You can't do that. You got to come with he played everything. Goldie's right.
You got to come with that.
And you could see Premier. You could see Premier looking through his laptop, like, you know what I mean? And
he got smoked, man.
It was just an unexpected upset because one of the things that was so cool about it was I think Premier was like, well, I did records for Biggie, Nas, Jay, blah 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 blah, and RZA was like, yeah, I did records with my friends from Staten Island, and they're all amazing. and it was like, it was kind of like, damn, and then it was like. The formula, the primo formula, which is
the bad selection. The records that he was matching up against RZA's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like at one point when like,
what are you doing?
When he played the DOS Effects one, I was like,
yeah,
like he played it right after RZA played Run. When RZA played Run, because I had forgot Run, that was like.
But the thing is, like, I think for RZA, like the songs that he has one for one versus Premier, like Premier never really had like the best songs of like a specific artist except for Gangstar. And I've obviously like Group Home and Jeru, but those are like that's like, they might as well be like Gangstar. But like RZA.
No, but there's a lot of people that would disagree. Yeah, there's a lot of people that
that's
would
debatable.
Disagree.
That's debatable.
Because like some people would say like.
Best song. He has J. Rule's best song. He has Biggie's best.
No, that's what I said.
Biggie's best song.
Aside from J. Rule, like and Group Home and people that he like produced all the way through, like he might have had Biggie's best song, but it's not Biggie's most popular song, or Jay-Z's most popular songs, or any like that. Versus like you're talking RZA, like anybody from Wu's like most popular song is produced by RZA, and like they are attached at the hip. So whenever you think of like whatever Ghostface's biggest song is, oh yeah, that's RZA. And whatever like Jizz's most important song, oh yeah, that's RZA. It's like all those things are RZA all the way through.
That's why
it
he
just sounds like you're saying
I think that's why
it
he
just
smoked
sounds
them.
like you're saying Dizza.
I know.
I thought the selection 1-for-1 formatting was a little off for Premiere, but then also it made me realize, like we're kind of just so accustomed to Premiere Records, I think.
Yeah, you're right.
And then every like 3 years, I go back and listen to like Liquid Swords or something, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like the way this record sounds, the way he creates like a whole.
I think the thing is, like, RZA is just so weird, and weird stuff tends to, not always, but it tends to stand the test of time because it doesn't immediately put you in one moment in time. You know what I mean? Like a lot of those RZA beats could come out now and it would sound cool, but a lot of those Primo beats might not be able to come out right now. I think that might have
almost like the perfection of Primo's beats almost make them sound dated versus like.
I totally agree with you.
The
Or sterile a little bit.
It gets like so choppy later.
Yeah,
later
like
stuff.
Primo. I like Primo stuff from like Daily Operation and like Step in the Arena, like and the Heavy D album he did a lot of beats on, Blue Funk, like. But that stuff wouldn't have worked on Versus because it's too the audience is too small
People
for it.
don't know it.
Yeah.
Polished.
But he was he was dropping a lot of singles, you know, and I felt like he should have just kind of went a little deep too. Like he should have
Primo.
Yeah, he should have dropped some album cuts to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
Did he play the Jay-Z The Evils? Did he play that? Yeah, he played that.
I'm not
I
sure.
think they should have did a situation where they just played the beats and not the lyrics. That would have been dope to me.
That's
when
what
they
I
do the
thought they were
producer
gonna do.
joints, when they do the producer joints, I think they should just do the beats and just don't have the songs. You know, yeah, he still would have smoked them to me as well. I believe that too.
I don't know.
I really love Premiere, and I think his catalog is probably it basically like formed the hip hop sound for like 4 years. Like a lot of people tried to replicate his shit. 4 or 5 years. But like if some random like 19-year-old kid from like fucking Missouri like created a weird ass SoundCloud that sounded just exactly like RZA's beats now, people be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like that's weird and different and like cool. Versus like if someone did like just like remade Premier's beats, they'd be like, this is what like hip hop sounds like in the 90s. Is like old and corny, you know? Like RZA has like some weird mystical shit about how he did it.
So you're kind of penalizing Premiere for setting what the standard of quality hip hop sounds like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's a little unfair.
There was two things that happened in that battle for me, which was one was like I was a little bit surprised at how I felt about some of the Primo beats after all this time, which was kind of like, oh, all right, you know, like I thought he was God to me in the 90s, you know, and still is. But the other thing that happened to me was like I went back to even like Capadonna's first album was crazy. Like there was just so much amazing music that those guys have made, and it
damn, you really went back and listened to the Capadonna.
Dude, the first Capadonna album was really good.
What is that? What is the Capadonna album called?
There's so many good songs on it, and I made like this
to that whole album.
Yeah, you should. It's really good, and it's one of those things. It's like he's only by himself on like 2 songs, so it's basically a Wu-Tang album.
Yeah,
just like all those other solo albums that came out back then.
I feel like it came out like
Capadonna
2001.
Rooftop Story?
Nah, it came out in 97. The first single was called 97 Mentality. Come on, guys.
When Forever came out.
Yo, the thing about Premiere though, the thing about Premiere though that I think fucks him up is that his drums just sound so dated now. And when you listen to hip hop now that's relevant, there's almost no drums. It's all loops. That's why the RZA sounds
totally
so good.
right.
The RZA sounds so good because it's these light ass drums and these heavy loops. These hypnotic fucking loops that are relevant right now. Like you're hearing all like the street rappers rhyming on that shit.
Oh my God! Dare we say lo-fi? Are we gonna say the L word?
spooky sample.
Like I don't even think like Alchemist has programmed a drum beat in like 10 years now. It's just like loops.
That boom bap sound is just played out.
Yeah.
It's just like
that's. Nah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that, but he's using the same drums that he's been using when he was doing in the 90s.
Yeah.
For me, he
Primo,
still
right?
uses the same drums, the same pattern. So it's like, I've heard it.
Also, like we were saying that about him even in like the late 90s. You remember like he would use those represent drums all the time. And I remember even back then when people would just like talk about it, like.
So when he did those records with the Buffalo guys, I was like, these guys don't sound as good now on Premier beats. I like them on their weird ass like homemade beats better.
They're homemade beats.
It just sounds like for like 10 years. For like 10 years, every song that he made sounded like the Royce the 5'9" song that he did, and it was just like, I'm like remaking the song again and again and again,
Yeah. When he samples those violins, man.
How did this turn into the DJ Premier slander podcast?
No, why you shitting on Premier like that?
This down, bro. You're gonna live down the Joe Mass, but you're not gonna live down the DJ Premier slander podcast.
No, we gotta stop. Yeah, like.
And Raul hasn't even said a word, and Premier's like his god.
Chill. Listen, let the record show where I stand.
Well, it'll be interesting if they do. If they do
I never met RZA.
If you'll have the same
Premier Madonna song, that's fucking crazy.
Wait, say it again, Raul.
Premier Madonna song.
Really?
Yeah, he produced a Madonna song that never came out. I have it. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but nothing like that Premier Limp Bizkit song. You know what I'm saying? Is that the one with Redman?
Method Man.
Method Man.
Oh, Method Man. Whatever. What's it called? All In Together now?
In Together now.
Yeah. Crooked. I want my likeness removed from this entire podcast. Right? just black out like my square on YouTube.
I feel like Premier could have easily done a song with like Papa Roach, like if he just had the chance. Like some new metal band, like for sure. That's the difference in careers right there.
Well, Premier did the song with Christina Aguilera.
Yeah.
Now he did a whole album.
Great.
That's not a great song.
I didn't like that song.
I thought it was great. I mean, when it came out, I thought it was great. I liked it.
Like the Miguel one that he did? I never liked it.
Janet Jackson.
I never heard that.
Miguel.
You don't remember the Premier and Slipknot song?
It's so hard because we really respect and we love Premier. It's just like such a long career, right? It's like after like 30 years, just like kind of like critiquing anyone's career. It's like it's a little rough, but yeah, Mo, you're right that
he also got kind of belligerent. He got belligerent and said like, "This is how it's done, and this is how it's supposed to be done," and refused to change with the times. So it's like you see clips of him like yelling at people about stuff. It's just like,
really?
I don't know, man. People like 808s. What do you want?
Really? I didn't see that shit. Was it like an interview or he just went on a rant?
That was like a brief moment in time, like when things were really shifting. And when he would DJ sets, he would kind of yell at people
for a little while.
This is every
it's
genre.
It's like me
of music,
DJing The Edition.
You get like a 10-year run of that where you can change the whole game and change the sound. But it's like we're talking about James Brown records from like 1979 or something. We're like, it's lost a little bit of the thing, song for song. But I mean, yeah, we can stop slandering Premier now.
Nope,
it's making me real uncomfortable. No, I'm just RZA's songs really, really held up, and there was a gap there, and probably I think it's because like I was saying before, I don't listen to RZA as regularly.
Yeah.
So like it's like once every 2 years, I'll go back and revisit those albums. So it's like a rediscovering them every time a little bit.
It's insane.
That's probably why.
It's insane how good some of those albums are. Like the Raekwon Only Built for Cuban Links, the Ghostface with Iron Man, whatever that all of those are fucking genius albums, man.
Method Man album.
I think when they did the verses, the lineup, when they was going song for song, it was like the matchup just was bad, and it just like you can't put Royce 5'9" Boom against Bring the Pain. Yeah. It's like that song is so much bigger than Royce is, even though Royce's record is dope. It just was a bad matchup. So he lost a lot of rounds like that.
I think also it's like when that Royce record came out, it was like, for the kind of record it was, massive. And everybody thought that was like the best beat they ever heard. And I think, it's been 20 years now. So it's like you react a little bit differently than when it first came out. And that's the thing about music is like the way it ages, sometimes it's unpredictable, a song that when it first came out you thought was the greatest thing you ever heard. 20 years later, you're not sure. You know,
people's giving them credit for records that he didn't even do. It's like, yo, they was like, play Annie Up.
I know the MOP one.
Like,
I know.
like, yo, like, he didn't even do the record. Like,
I know.
Yo, but speaking of verses,
that was embarrassing.
Do you guys like this new format where the two artists are in the same studio? I mean, granted, you're gonna get a higher like production, but what I really liked about Versus is that it felt like these artists, they were trapped in the lockdown, just like we were.
It was intimate and personable, and it made you feel like you were on the same level.
Yeah, even when like their Wi-Fi was like slow or whatever, except for Teddy Riley, it was an aberration, you know. But it just, I don't know. I just feel like I'm just watching a TV show right now, and I could care less for
the
it,
best to me. The best one was Teddy Riley and Babyface.
That was dope.
Bounty Killer.
Yeah, that was good too. And the worst one was Alicia Keys and John Legend. That was just
boring one. That was so boring.
The Bounty and Beanie one. That was the first one, I think, when they were both in the same.
Yeah.
That one was fire.
And it worked really well for them.
Oh,
it worked really well for them, and I think that after that they were like, "This is how we should do it," but it's different. It was just worked for them, you know.
Yeah.
Yo, when the cops
basically for them.
Cops rolled up.
When the cops rolled up on them, it was crazy.
Bounty was ready to go, and Beanie Man's like the responsible one. He's like, "Come on, the whole world's watching. If you and then be that guy."
The police has been gone. It's fucking hilarious.
The dope shit. The dope shit about the Babyface and Teddy Riley was Babyface just like sneak dissing this motherfucker like
the whole time.
Shade. It was
sunning him.
Amazing. It was so good. It was so good.
And then Teddy Riley just losing his shit like at little things, like yelling at his assistants and shit. Like, I thought that was the best, man. Just seeing Babyface so calm and unbothered, and just like
but then at one point he had to ask him. The best part was when Babyface got humble and he just had to ask him, what was it like working with Michael? Because that's the thing. Teddy Riley's Wi-Fi was messed up. He was acting wild, but at the end of the day, he got to work with Michael Jackson.
Right.
And that was the one thing Babyface couldn't really, mess with.
Can I ask everyone a question?
Yeah.
Have any of you guys gotten hit up to DJ New Year's?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Nothing.
Well,
I have.
I don't expect to either. But
like Miami.
I got hit up. I turned it down. I was just like, and it's like one of my absolute favorite places to play too. Yeah, it's in Tulum. No, it's not in America.
Yeah.
Well, it's in Tulum, so it's
yeah, I know a guy who's been there, like not Tulum, but like Mexico in general, and he's just been like, I don't know, people just like are living their lives here, like I don't know what the COVID situation over there.
Yeah, wait, who said why did you turn it down?
I did.
You? Because the cases are skyrocketing out there, and I don't want to contribute, like, especially in like there's like a lot of tourism. A lot of people are traveling to Mexico to like just like go on vacation. You know, I don't know. I just
I've seen it on Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't want to contribute to that. I don't want to be like a part of a super spreader event. You know, I mean, it's just, and the place that I'm playing at, they were like, it's going to be 50% capacity, but it's a huge place. So even 50% capacity is a lot of people, and they're going to dance and they're going to crowd around. And I don't know. I just didn't want to have anything to do with that.
Ellie, can you still spread COVID? Can you still like catch it and shed it if you know what I mean?
You've had it already?
Yeah.
I mean, I have the antibodies. I'm the only person here that got it.
I honestly think I got it in March, but I didn't get tested until like July, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, the antibody. I mean, they're like, I think they just published a new study that said the antibodies can last maybe up to 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, 17.
But only a few months before that they were saying 3 months.
Wow. But you might be good. Know. I mean, you might not be other than the visual of you traveling and that.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Threat, you know.
Yeah, but it's more about like just the social contract of everybody doing their part to like try to, even though so many people aren't doing their part. And then there's also like the reputation, you know, like a lot of in the house and techno scene, a lot of DJs have been getting blasted for traveling and for DJing.
Yeah.
You know, and I got to think about that.
They're vicious, boy. Them house and techno motherfuckers on Twitter are vicious.
Just real quick though, Eddie,
you're not being sarcastic.
No,
the house and techno.
I know it's hard to tell sometimes with you. Yeah, they are. So anyway, but yeah, I kind of just like
techno Twitter. Forget it. That's like you just throw your records out. You had to deal with those people. They're fucking crazy.
So I got hit up. I got hit up to do South Africa, and I think I'm gonna do it, but only because they've been responsible over there to a certain extent. You know, when COVID hit, they locked down the country for like 4.5 months. I was there for about 3.5 months of the lockdown. You know, everybody was wearing masks. Everybody was social distancing. Everyone was like sanitizing. No questions asked. No crazy like conspiracy theorists. Like everybody just got lock and step with all of society. And yeah, they still got cases, right? They got maybe like about 1,500 a day right now. But where are we at? 200,000, right? And our population is not like 100 times theirs. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do it also because there's been a narrative that, you know, the Western world is so civilized, this, that, and the third. And, you know, Africa and all these other like developing countries is like a bunch of savages. But if you look at how the United States and Western Europe, specifically the UK, have dealt with COVID, it's been a dumpster fire, right?
Yeah, it's not a secret anymore what kind of people are you know,
because
we're dealing with.
These societies are so they're so privileged they can't deal with the slightest inconvenience, you know? Like, yo, you can't outdoor dine, or you can't indoor dine, or you can't dance at a party. These motherfuckers is just losing their shit. And you look at a continent like Africa, places like Senegal that are averaging 30 or 40 cases a day, you know what I'm saying? They're actually the blueprint for how you should deal with COVID. So me going back to the continent to DJ there is to kind of like, you know, just because a country is developed doesn't mean it's civilized. And that's when I'm talking about the United States and the UK, they're developed countries full of savage motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And we have to rewrite that narrative. And I want to shine a light on the way South Africa dealt with this, the way Rwanda, they're trying to book me in Rwanda, the way they dealt with it. Rwanda shut down the country at case number 2. They had 2 cases. They shut down the country for like 3 months. COVID is gone. Same thing, I think, with Kenya. They're averaging, you know, very few cases per day. So that's kind of what I'm doing personally. Is like, yo, look to the continent, you know, look to a group of people who kind of came together and agreed on how we tackle this pandemic versus fucking madness that we live in here.
I was gonna ask, in South Africa, did they do like any type of stimulus or anything? Did they give people money, or they just said like just do it?
Nah, motherfuckers was broke, bro. They even banned the sale of alcohol. People were going crazy. Wow. Because their president said, if we ban alcohol, with alcohol, you guys are gonna have house parties. You're gonna be fucking. You're gonna be dancing. You're gonna be drunk driving. You're gonna be making bad decisions. They banned alcohol, and you know, you had your little bootlegs. You had, you know, you were able to go purchase alcohol at specific bootlegs. It felt very much like the prohibition, which was kind of cool in a certain way. But by and large, they banned alcohol, and for the vast majority, they banned the sale of cigarettes because they said this is a pulmonary disease pandemic. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna ban the sale of cigarettes.
Wow.
And out here, people would have been like,
no way.
It's my civil rights, my liberties, my Second Amendment, yada, yada, yada. You know, they would have rushed the governor's mansion with like automatic weapons. Over there, they were like, all right, fuck it. Well, you know, we'll figure it out. And it was hard. Right. It was hard for a lot of people. But you could tell 7-8 months later, you could see the result and you could compare it to here.
You really don't read about this at all.
Not at all.
No. It's amazing.
What did you say, Eddie?
I said we're going to be booking a lot of stuff for New Year's. You know, I had to send several of the places and brands that I work with, like lists of available DJs. Some of the stuff we're going to do is streaming with MGM, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But
Eddie, can you explain that shit? You've been like streaming into lounges and shit now.
Yeah, they're the fucking best gigs in Vegas right now, man. We're streaming every Friday and Saturday from my office. I have a nice fucking setup, and we stream to a couple of lounges. One is Lily Lounge at Bellagio. One is Alibi Lounge at Aria. DJs are able to make better money streaming from my office than if they were to show up to a gig pre-COVID time. It's a simulcast, you know, nice graphics. When we first started it, I had a QR code set up that we put inserts into at every table. So guests, being that there's no you can't mingle with other tables, you can't really cross pollinate, and really it's not the same social environment. we wanted to try and engage the audience as best as we could. So I set up QR codes where they would scan it and it would bounce requests. And I hate requests. I made an exception for this shit. You could send requests or shout outs right to the DJ via this QR code. And then when the guests would hear their shout outs or their songs being played, it blew their minds. And, you know, so what we lack in the ability to dance and meet people when you go out, you got to kind of hang with whoever you showed up with. It was just like a cool other layer, you know, to keep people engaged, I guess. And yeah, so we've been doing that for a while.
I got a question following up from Eddie. You know, you were explaining about streaming into the clubs and shit, right? How come, like, you know, Goldie, Ellie, you guys are like totally not into streaming? Even like Ross, you're not into it. None of y'all motherfuckers are into it.
For me, it's more, I'm like a more people person, want to be out in the crowd. And I think that the crowd is going to be so different.
You know, as far as like the guys that are like in Vegas, we've had like, it's like Crooked, never, I can speak for all of us, guys coming from a really substance-driven background in music and then having to come to Vegas and really having to follow these trends and really DJing, at least, and I can speak for myself, has become work to the point where if you want to try and do something different, you're looking over your shoulder for the first suit to come and tell you, no, you need to play Calvin Harris, or do this or do that. The direction that we're constantly faced with having to take and compromising kind of our musical identity, like the streams, to be able to actually play some shit that you just connect to, like Ellie and Goldfinger, like you guys have always really prided yourself. You guys have a sound, you have an identity and stuff. Not that us that are playing in Vegas don't, but I just feel like we've had to spend years compromising, like bending our kind of guidelines and our boundaries musically and say, like, I would never even buy this fucking record, but I have to play it.
So when you've been broken by the bottle service system of misery, it's not that hard to shovel an extra couple shovels of shit, basically.
I'm not saying that.
2 more shovels of garbage.
I'm not saying that. I just think that the vibe, like even if I was doing like a party like Everyday People with MoMA, I think that even his crowd would be different post-COVID. I think that it's going to be a different vibe.
For me personally, I have a hard time. So like when I first started DJing, it was kind of funny, but like when I first started like DJing in like 2008 or 7, like whatever, there's actually places where you could stream yourself DJing. You could stream like whatever, just a bunch. You could just stream shit. And I remember I used to go on there and just like stream myself playing a bunch of like obscure rap records. And I was into it because my idea of DJing was like, this is what I'm going to do for my whole life. Like, I'm going to just like play obscure rap records. And then I actually got into DJing and I got like so addicted to like being in clubs and like watching people dance and like feeding off of their energy and like just kind of like seeing how they react to the songs I play and all that kind of stuff. You kind of go on Instagram Live and you play a song and people are like talking in the comments section and it's like distracting and you're staring at yourself playing really. And it's just there's too much going on for me and the way that I DJ and the way how I interact with people in the club versus like how I would interact with people on Instagram is like so not how I would interact usually with people in the club that I just can't do it. I honestly like look at it and like when I did it a couple times, I was watching myself and I hated myself, like actual hatred for myself that I was like, I can't do this. Like this is too awkward for me personally, like how I am as a human. And it's not to say like that's how everybody should be, but that's why I don't do it personally for me. Because like I just feel too awkward and uncomfortable and I can't connect with anybody in like watching that. It makes me feel weird, you know?
If I wanted to be on fucking TV, I'd have stayed in Los Angeles and try to be on TV. I don't want to be on fucking TV. It's a TV job. Four Color Zach's not DJ, he's a fucking TV show host. No disrespect. You were a good DJ. now you're an interesting TV host. Like, cool. I don't want to fucking be on TV, so why would I be on TV?
Yeah, you kind of have to want to be a TV show host.
I agree with what everybody's saying.
No,
one time I saw at work, Ellie, you did a thing with, I think, House of Yes, where it was like a Zoom call. I think.
What for me it was like when the lockdown first happened. Me and my family, we went to the Rockaways, and I didn't even have DJ equipment or anything. So and I wouldn't have never have planned to do any like live streams then, because I'm like Adrian, like exactly the same. Like I don't like looking at myself. I never wanted to be a DJ for attention. I wanted to be a DJ because I wanted to be in the back, like controlling the environment and like feeding off of human beings and their energy and stuff. So, but then I started to get then I wasn't making, just like all of us, not making any money, and I got some offers that paid. So like I set up, like I got a controller and I set it all up or whatever. And so I did a few things that were Zoom parties. And it was like, I told them, I was like, don't put me on the screen. Like maybe like on the top. They would have like the row on the top of people, and then a big person in the center. So I was like, if you want to have people to be able to see me, just put me as one of those little people on the top, and then spotlight all the people listening and dancing on the main screen.
Right.
So I did that for a few people, and it was super fun. And it was especially because it was the beginning. For me, nightlife disappearing has been a huge blow, like mental health wise, like just like it's my only, thing that I'm good at, and I love it. Like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I used to go to clubs and I was like in my 20s, it was wild, and then I grew up. Like, no, I'm a lifer, So for me, I felt kind of like, all right, I'm like doing this again, and it's cool, and I can see people dancing, and it was cool. But then after like the fourth one, I was like, man, this shit sucks. It just got old mad quick.
It was DJing for all of us before we ever started gigging out. I mean, I think it's safe to say pretty much everybody on here went through the bedroom phase. No crowds, just raw passion.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't miss this. Like, I hadn't practiced at home in like 20 years,
The thing about bedroom DJing too is that like the whole point is that no one sees you doing it because you're just practicing and like doing what you want. But I watched, I think the first one of those Zoom House of Yes, and it was like really good. And it was like, there was probably 75 people in there, and they all had their cameras set up in their little New York apartments, and so people were just like jamming, and it felt, but then after like, 40 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm my buzz is gone, my depression.
Like if I was in the club and I started at 10 o'clock at night and it was 5 a.m. and they were like, all right, Ellie, we're gonna do lights out, I'd be like, damn, I have like another hour in me. But when I was doing that thing, I texted them and I was like, you guys mind if I stop? Can you switch over to something? Like I was ready to get out of there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It was.
That's
bad.
The same thing with me. Like I got excited. Sorry, go ahead, Goldfinger.
I was gonna say that I saw your stuff, and from you DJ from the crib, it was amazing to me. I saw, these guys, the road guys, they was DJing. MoMA had a couple of clips here and there, and it was really interesting to me that I didn't have any hunger to DJ at all. I felt good watching you guys DJing, but I had there was no fire for me to DJ at all. Now, doing other stuff creatively, it worked, like making beats and stuff like that. But as far as DJing and having that type of connection and back and forth, not at all. Not in the least bit.
Yeah. No, I feel you. And I didn't have the same dilemma as Ellie, because Ellie actually got offered paid gigs to stream. I didn't get offered paid gigs.
Not too many, just a few.
But anybody that hit me up to stream was on some like, yo, let's do it on the strength or whatever. And I was like, nah, later for that. I mean, I would much rather do nothing than stream. But now, if you offer me like $500 or $1,000, fuck it. I'll figure a DJ setup. But the thing that I did get offered was sets for virtual festivals. You know what I mean? And that was kind of like, that was different. They're like, yo, we need 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour. And I was like, well, instead of me just doing a set that's essentially a pre-recorded live stream, let me try to create something that I want to keep for myself. And while I was in Africa, I really got into YouTube.
I don't even want to talk about this.
I'm not gonna bring up the Major Laser where I have the Indian Ocean as a backdrop, and I don't know.
Yeah, come on, that's like
you have like your fire escape as a backdrop.
Yeah.
Yo, I never got played that hard in my life.
Ellie's camera setup would be so crazy. It would be like half a chair, and you could kind of see the CDJs, like sort of, and he'd just be there like looking all sad.
And I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? Like, why do I have to? What happened that all of a sudden I have to worry about what I look like when I'm DJing?
Yeah.
You know,
and for me, that's how I was able to kind of like not feel self-conscious. Because I told the homies, I want a couple of camera angles, I want a drone, I want to showcase the island, I want to showcase the Pacific, the Indian Ocean,
drone.
and take the focus away from me, because I would have been self-conscious in my room and I would have hated it just like everyone else. But also I had the opportunity to get into like editing videos and understanding how it works. Me and Crooked, we did a lot of that together. And after I got paid for those festival sets, then I waved them up on my YouTube as kind of like a finished piece of content. You know what I'm saying? Like a highly produced piece of content. And you got people on YouTube. My YouTube is like nascent. You know what I'm saying? I only got like, I don't know, 500, 600 followers or whatever. But there's a couple thousand views and people are commenting and people are discovering me on YouTube through the visuals. People outside of New York City, you know what I'm saying? Or outside of Miami or LA. So I'm glad I did those. It was a lot of work. I think I did 3 or 4. Crooked, we did 4, right?
Yeah, we did 4. Well, you did 4. I just edited them. But can I say from an outside point of view on what you did and how it worked for you is that I feel like all of us, and it's a generational thing on how motherfuckers approach DJing in general. I feel like all of us were introverts, and when we went to parties, we didn't want to be the dancers. We didn't have like that outgoing personality to like talk to people. We were like, yo, the DJ, that's dope. They can actually impact the room, like, but kind of be hidden away. And I feel like that's a lot of us, well, probably maybe most of us, we're like, yo, I want to be a DJ because I love music and I could impact the room without being like the center of attention. But I feel like, you know, and this new generation is totally different. They're approaching DJing by being the center of attention and being like, oh, maybe I'll DJ. You know what I'm saying? So they already have this. They're not introverts. They're performers, and they're like, let me DJ now.
Their need for attention is the catalyst to get them
right.
And I couldn't. I like to be the center of attention, but I couldn't be the center of attention without getting in trouble. This is sort of a theme for me. And DJing was a way to be the center of attention, and I didn't get in trouble. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, obviously, I guess to get in trouble.
The vast majority of our early gigs, the DJ booth was up a ship's ladder, right?
Right.
Like, you kind of had to literally climb a ladder. You'd be tucked in an alcove, and like nobody knew where you were.
But
the original DJ booth was in the corner next to a fucking juice bar in a dark fucking corner, and you'd have Sasha.
Or up in the top of the
Or Junior's booth was up in the top, you know, whatever, and then they front and center, and then.
I'll say this whole thing has been like speeding up the technological misery of everything in the work from home and like places like Uber Eats and all this stuff. Like everything tech has boomed during this whole thing. Fucking Amazon, people that were big companies that were able to sort of like transition to getting food to people through tech, through apps and through this and that. And whatever was happening with DJing before this has just been fucking like turbo blasted. Now, someone like Ellie, who has a career making music and like creating sort of fans one by one, he's going to be fine through this thing. But for the rest, you know, sort of like a lot of us, you know, myself included, I was just working a gig. You know, when we come back, what's it going to pay? Do you know what I mean? And how fucking hard is it going to be to get money? And I think the like decline of DJing turning into this sort of really brand-driven thing that has kind of nothing to do with creating the magic of, you know, putting the right 2, 3, 4, 5 records together and making something really special happen. It's just like, it's turbocharged the magic out of this thing. And I feel like Goldfinger, I don't want to fucking do it. Like if it comes back and it seems like it might be fun, like maybe, I don't know.
I'll say this. I think what the pandemic did for me is that it finally made me feel my age. Right? I feel like for the past 15 years, I was stuck at 28. Everything I did I did it with the energy of a 28-year-old. I traveled like a 28-year-old. I got up early. I drank. I partied. I went to sleep late. I caught flights. And now, yo, the thought of doing anything more than like going to the fucking supermarket during the day, and I'm overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? Just the concept of having a gig in New York on Friday and then Miami on Saturday and then catching the 6 a.m. so I can get to LA and do a day party on Sunday and then be back in New York for LeBain on Wednesday. Just that thought is just overwhelming to me. And
sounds
that,
amazing to me.
I think for me, going to be the biggest difference is like, am I going to want to get back on the hamster wheel? Because I was a slave to the rhythm and I feel like I'm no longer a slave to rhythm. Like I'm just chilling.
Life under capitalism sucks.
Yo, but Mo,
I'm not sure it's about the capitalism more so than the vibe of what you're gonna get from the people. Like people have been forever changed by this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's the vibe gonna be like? What is like? So, you used to be able to go into a club and feel the room and know where people are at mentally with certain records you play. What the fuck is the room gonna feel like if you go in post-COVID? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
I think it would be.
We're talking about it too, man. Like people are just so happy to be out. Like in the few times I have gone out in Vegas, it's like a refreshing thing that where you can really just play freely and people just genuinely are happy to be out of the fucking house. You know what I mean?
Yo, like
I'm with you.
I think
their standards are so low.
I think that what's gonna happen is like the first few. I mean, all right, like the vaccine is here. People are probably gonna get it. Probably at some point, like, March, April, May of next year, like people will probably be back towards like the full flow of shit. And the first month of like us being out is gonna be insane. Like there's gonna be a party every day. People are gonna be going crazy, and then it's gonna be kind of like back to normal. And this like notion, I mean, specifically for like, the refreshing factor of it, it's going to be there for like a month, 2 months, 3 months even. But after that, it's just going to go back to normal. And I think what we all have kind of realized is as DJs, like the last few years, if you don't have like your niche kind of like, not even niche, but if you don't have like your thing that people come check you for, like for example, for the live streams, people that were successful at the live streams were people who were like, yo, this is the dude that like does this specific thing really well. Let's go check him because he's offering us like a perspective that like we can only get from him or her, right? And that's why I think for some of us as like club DJs that are really known for like a specific thing, it's just like we're known for like making the party feel good. Like that was kind of whack for the live stream. But then my question is, after like a post-COVID world in the club world, like who's gonna go like want to go see that anymore or pay a lot of money to go see that anymore? Are we just gonna go and enter like the realm? Are we gonna start like cherishing like sort of like what Ellie does more, which is like you go listen to like this kind of house music and like tech music because like this is kind of like worth paying for? Or are you still gonna go and spend all your money like listening to like, a fucking Calvin Harris song or whatever? Like, I don't know what the vibe is gonna be, and I don't know if there's gonna be as much room for like a regular club experience after COVID, Like, I don't know if
you're giving too much credit to the clientele. The clubs we play are gonna be the same people.
It'll be the same. Shit. I think the bigger question is how many clubs are gonna be able to survive?
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be way
I've
less.
lost half the clubs I used to do regularly, at least like just off the map. So
that's what I'm nervous about. I'm nervous about like what Andy said about me being fine. Like, I don't know if all the clubs that pay me are closed, then I'm not going to be fine, even if I'm
but
still your
making
records.
Your demographic is driven by the desire to listen to the actual music that you're providing them. Our the club, quote unquote, club world demographic is just driven by like, let's get fucked up on a weekend or whatever night. And honestly, we had already all seen the transition from like people being able to do that at the club, or also being able to just go to a bar with their homies, like where there's like some DJ in the corner playing all the top 40 hits. Like all that shit had already started getting watered down to like other experiences other than the club experience. So when like someone wants to go dance, they could literally go do that at like the Finnegan's or whatever, like of whatever type, like, Irish pub that's like down the street. And when you're going to want to like go to the club, you're going to want to go for some shit that like you really want to go to, because that experience is kind of more of a hassle in like the open format world, I guess. So it's like, to me, I genuinely wonder like what people are going to go looking for once shit is open, because really, if anything, this has taught us that like people have been overpaying for a club experience for like a really long time. And that was already slowing down before COVID. And now that people don't have bread anymore, like they're really going to be like, am I going to go spend bread, like $18 for like a tequila shot at the club? Yeah. Or am I just going to go to like, O'Malley's and like, I don't know why I'm fixated on Irish.
Gravitating to Irish.
They're so upset. Flanagan's is closed. Yo, I love Flanagan's.
Listen, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to predict how people behave, but if just from a technical standpoint, I think first things first, people are going to gravitate towards outdoor events, whether it's day parties or like small festivals, because I think psychologically that's what's going to feel safest to them. It may not be safer, you know what I mean? There may be a higher rate of infection than a club with air conditioning. I don't know. That's recycling the air 10 times in 15 minutes. I have no clue. But I think psychologically, day one, people are going to gravitate to outdoor events.
What's happening in Vegas is that the local restaurants are becoming the it scenes. So like these local restaurants are hiring DJs. And Eddie, you've been kind of handling some of these spots. These restaurants in Vegas are pulling in a local scene. But since these nightclubs, these big nightclubs on the strip are closed, the waitresses, the cocktail waitresses and the staff, they're not working on the strip. So they got this next level of like staff working in these little local bars, and their level of soliciting customers for bottles and all of this shit. It's like these restaurants are becoming like the new spots. And like,
and that kind of sounds amazing.
Right. Yeah. So what's happening is
brutal.
So what's happening is these restaurants, right, are becoming the new spots. They're getting packed. They're starting to do like, they were originally open for like night only dinner. Now they're opening for brunch, and now they're making so much money. They're like expanding. They're like setting up another location. So like all of
you got like waitresses that would probably have been working at the Wynn and like Excess are now doing like these local hookah lounges.
Yeah,
and they're popping.
But they're popping now because they're bringing this different clientele to the restaurants, and that's what's happening in Vegas. Is that the local scene that was really not really existent before is starting to blow up now. And
we're in Miami. Local scene, though, there's no other option. People want to go out; they're going to wherever they can go. Yeah. So, and the waitresses are going to make money however they can.
Exactly.
So, once things begin to reopen, I don't think that's going to be the problem anymore. The problem is like, have you listened to the radio in the last like 6 months? Like,
no, but I think people are just so.
It's like it's everything is a black hole right now. There's a void.
I think the music is like pretty much almost the same. Like when I've been going out a little bit in Vegas, everyone's just so happy to be out. Like it's not, like you could literally play whatever you want or play whatever you was playing earlier last year or whatever the fuck, throwing in a couple of the songs that stood out this year, and then just kind of like just mix it all in. But people are just so happy to be out and to hear songs that they remember. And the older shit is working better than some of the newer shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not changed at all. It's not like anything's changed. I think the way people approach, like there's not going to be that many clubs. There's might not be no bars but whatever survives is going to be like it's shit. Do you know what I'm saying? So whatever city you're in, whatever survives.
In Miami, the local spots were actually already killing the clubs. Like Wynwood, downtown, whatever, was already crushing the clubs. So like now, given that they're the only thing open because they're mainly like outdoor spaces. I mean, maybe my perspective is too Miami centric, but I really don't see how like, I don't know. I don't see how like like for example, clubs on the beach, like maybe Live will survive. And maybe some of like the minimal tech oriented clubs will survive that are specific to like a genre. But if you're like an open format club on the beach, like I don't see how you reopen after this.
You also got to think like if I'm a club owner, I'm wondering if there's going to be another pandemic. You know what I mean? Like this just changed. I think this changed everything. You know, like not the way that you think about long-term nightlife.
Well, some club owners are thinking like that. Others are like, oh, this motherfucker's closing. Let's take that, and then let's take this too, and then before you know it, every club experience is gonna be by like, you know, Grutman in Miami, you know, and it's like whatever or whoever it is that is like the leader.
It's always been like
has,
that,
like, the
though.
most cash.
That's how it's always been in Miami. There's always been like a
I'm
couple.
never DJing again. Fuck it. I don't care.
You've never wanted to DJ though, Rock.
I mean, I was gonna move back to New York and like try to work on music and DJ some cool stuff. Maybe get like, I don't know, be like a waiter, DJ some lounges or something. That was already my plan, like before COVID. I was gonna move to Seattle or New York, and I was like, well, I'll go to New York and like give it one more try. You know what I mean? And like try to have the sort of career that I wanted to have from the beginning, not like get sidetracked being a fucking scam artist and doing all this bullshit. And like do something cool, like following the Eli Escobar footsteps, like a little prettier, a little less talented. But then when COVID hit, I was like, oh, this is fucked. And so I got the fuck out of my apartment. First 2 weeks, I was gone. Packed up my shit. I stayed at my family's house in Virginia. And then I was like, well, this is still fucked. I can't go to New York. Even though it's cheaper, it's not as cheap as it should be. And there's no fucking way to make money. I can't DJ. I can't even work at a restaurant. Like only the top restaurant people have their restaurant jobs still. Everyone else is fucked. So what am I going to do? Like, what does the future mean? So what do? Do I dig into creating a brand for myself online so that maybe I have a future in this thing when it comes back in some way that I'm not going to understand? Like, I just said, fuck it. And I took my stimulus money and I bought a smoker and I'm cooking ribs.
So are there DJs that like got even that like made more of a name for themselves since COVID than they had beforehand with their live stream stuff that they
nice.
I mean, yeah, but he was already a big DJ. I'm talking about like have there been DJs that found like a
but I think people are trying to hold on. And I said, I don't want to fucking grip the reins and hold on for dear life. I'm going to let go and see what happens.
But there's a few DJs. So for instance, we in New York, we're familiar with Get Live.
Yeah.
But through Twitch, I feel like a lot more people outside of New York are familiar with him. Mm-hmm. I used to do my party in LA once a month. So I knew of DJ Bella Fiasco before Twitch, but now she's killing it on Twitch.
Right.
And I feel like the whole DJ community knows about her.
Natasha Diggs too.
Oh, Natasha Diggs, obviously.
No, she was killing it. But now international, like her live stream thing is like through the roof.
It's a whole nother level. The way they've really stuck at it and they've been consistent.
Right.
So I think a few people have benefited.
You just gotta adapt. Like honestly, like Mo, you're a very different DJ than you were 5 years ago. You know, you're like dancing. You're like in front of the camera doing fucking moves. You know what I'm saying? Like you weren't doing that shit 10 years ago. Like you really adapted.
Well, no, because I had like 1,000 people in front of me dancing. Now I got a camera pointed at me, and it's like it's so boring to look at a DJ.
Yeah, but you've been even at your gigs, you were dancing a little bit more and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
but
you
maybe
kind of adapted.
Maybe it's because he's playing parties that are making him want to dance more.
Yeah, that's it. I'm playing music I love consistently. So I just want to dance along to it.
But, but it's different because a lot of us haven't been like, yo, like I got to study these moves and bust these moves while I'm DJing. Like that's the last shit any of us are gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but I mean, I just had a year off like everybody else.
Nah.
What I mean?
But you've been slowly adapting to that shit. Like you've been kind of becoming more of a front man.
I will say this. Steve Aoki.
Yeah.
Really
you guys are
out here. That's fucked up, man.
Shout out to Steve Aoki. Never met the man. You guys are like amongst my few DJ friends. I actually have a much bigger dancer community. Like, I by and large, I don't really fuck with DJs like that.
Smart.
But I have so many dancer friends. You know, those are the people that in Brooklyn in the city that I used to kick it with. That's who we left the club with, after the parties. That's who we got late night food with. So I think by osmosis, from watching all those people through the years.
For sure.
Once I was kind of like standing on an island by myself in Africa, I was like, I think these moves are permeating in my body. You know what I'm saying? And they just kind of downloaded their magic in me a little. I ain't no dancer though.
I have to say, like, as far as like, you know, live streaming and whether DJs are getting big or not, like, I really don't think that people, like, I think when you live stream, you're really just doing it for yourself, to give yourself like a sense of value or worth. Like, I don't think like anybody's coming out of this thinking or getting gigs because they were live streaming. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, some people already had a brand, like that's what they did. Like, so Super Sam and Four Color Zach, like, they already had like a brand to build on. But for most of like the regular DJs, it's kind of just like nobody's gonna get booked because they live streamed a ton, you know? Like, when this shit is over, MoMA's gonna get booked to do Everyday People because everybody still remembers Everyday People. Obviously, it's only been a year, and that's what they're gonna go look for. A club booker is gonna go book Ross One because he's been DJing for, I don't know, 100 years. Like, say, you know, whatever. What I'm trying to say is, like, people are gonna go back. People are gonna go back to what they know.
It's not going to be because of my break beat, all vinyl, 45 minutes.
Exactly. My point is, like, people are going to go back to what they know. And the real question is, when this shit opens up, who's going to be getting the jobs to book DJs and to do this kind of shit? Is it going to be like a younger, newer person? Did the older person already move on to another industry? Like, really, those are the questions and things you have to worry about. Because, like, for the most part, if it's still the same people that have the jobs, they're going to go back to the same shit they were always doing, you know?
Yeah. The bookers, I mean, a lot of bookers are gone now, so we'll see what happens there.
And I do think we tend to, like, overthink the pluses and minuses of streaming. I think by and large, we're all a little bit older here. You know, some motherfuckers have families. Some people like Brock have like existential crises. Like, you know, Crooked, you got a podcast and a business. I'm thinking, do I still want to be, you know, DJing and like getting home at 6 a.m.? But a lot of the people that have been killing it on Twitch are just dudes that's been waking up unemployed with nothing to do the whole day at their disposal and like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let me just get on there and DJ. Let me turn this camera on and do my thing. And not everyone is as intentional about what they do as this group of old men. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And no one in this group like is on Instagram just like talking into their cameras on a random pre-COVID on a random day, just being like, "Hey, everybody, let me tell you."
No, MoMA does. You haven't seen much MoMA stories.
MoMA does it like in a high pitched voice or whatever. But if you're in wherever the fuck he's been all last year, you get a pass to like show it off. But that's just not our personality type. No one in this group, unfortunately, mostly Crook is actually the one who's most embraced kind of a
I don't
online
know.
persona.
I think some people are really like, I'm fucking terrified and I'm going to throw it all at this streaming thing. So I'm fucking terrified that this is going to go away and I'm not going to be around when it comes back.
Right.
Of course, but that's they have a personality.
I totally agree with
personality
that.
type for it. You know? And like me, I used to lose jobs constantly because I wasn't on the mic. I wasn't, personable enough with the crowd. I didn't look like I was having a good time. Streaming just amplifies that times 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And I would say the one good thing about streaming is I got a little bit more comfortable talking on the mic. Even doing streams with my girl, like, which I really enjoyed doing. I was just like interacting with people I couldn't see, and it felt like practice to me. Right. But then I had to go back and be like, do I really want to be practicing? Like, it's going back to like being a bedroom DJ. Like, I probably shouldn't be practicing in front of like anyone who wants to tune in.
But I will say what you did good, Ross. I thought it was cool that you did a show that like had a theme, like your break stuff. Like, I think that is really, people should just do whatever the fuck they want. Yes. Okay. Fair. But also, like, if you are going to try to do something, I think it should have a direction and like a sort of like theme to be based off of, which is what I thought you were doing. That's cool. Like, I think more people should take time to think through, if they are going to try to like make a big deal out of it, they should take their time to think through what it is that they're going to be putting out there. If all they're doing is just like, yo, I just want to get on and play like records, okay, cool, whatever. Like you don't have to worry about it. But if you're like telling people 8 p.m., like be here, whatever time, like I think it helps more to build an audience and like make some noise if you are like building something, some form of brand, sort of like how you would build a party, I guess,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was desperation. A lot of people was just throwing shit at the wall and they were just coming on and just like, sure. I don't want to be left out. I don't want to be forgotten. Yeah. And, a lot of the shit was very mediocre DJing. And it was like, yo, fam, remember me? I DJ. It's like, this shit is corny. And then it's like everybody's playing the same fucking records. And it's like, yo, fam, that shit's not going to matter. Those records are not going to matter.
Yeah,
right.
Like if you're going on Instagram to play, like Mo Bamba, like, come on, bro. What are you doing? Like, what are we?
Well, I mean, this is a very interesting, like, way to kind of examine job security, because usually job security, everybody's going extra hard so they can keep getting hired, right? But you've never had a situation where everyone lost their job at the same time, right?
Right.
So it's not even about job security. It's about rehireability. It's like everybody's thinking, what can I do to get rehired, on day 2 when stuff comes back? But like, for me, nobody's come for me. It's not like I have the throne. I just have my own custom chair that I built for myself. You know what I'm saying? And no one came for it. So I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to stream. But for somebody who's kind of relying on bottle service world, where the bookers aren't necessarily, they don't got like their finger to the pulse of culture. They're just looking for who's the most relevant, who's the most visible on social media. Those motherfuckers, they need to be streaming, or they need to be releasing music, or they need to be doing something so their name is constantly in front of those people. You know what I'm saying? So I get the people that stream, and I get the people that feel like they don't have to.
I think a lot of people were delusional. They was thinking that so much attention was going to certain DJs that if I just took my little followers of this, that, and the third, and I did the same thing, that I was going to garner the same results. And that's just not true. You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't happen like that.
I mean, it's definitely not true, but like they could take a stab at it, right?
Yeah, but I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought it was cool when you would like bust into a random DJ's like fucking IG live and they were playing like some random shit like you never expected them to play, or like, whatever. I thought it was extremely sad when you would walk into like a dude with like on IG playing like Travis Scott to like 3 people. Like, if this is what you're going to use IG Live for, like, you might as well not have used it, because you basically just cost yourself. Like, this is more of a bad look than it is a good look. However, if you're going on to 3 people and you're playing like some cool shit that like people are like, oh, I didn't know this dude was into this, or oh, this is kind of cool that he's playing this. Like, I don't know. I kind of respected that more. I would think that was cool. I don't know. Does that make sense?
But like when D Nice popped off, right? When he really popped off, I felt like people were like, "Yo, this is an open market," and then they started, and then they started,
they were wrong.
And then they started realizing, like, nah, this is only D Nice. Like,
yeah.
But D Nice, I think D Nice is a testament to good music, and that's why when people are talking about what's gonna happen when the clubs open up again, I am not worried. Like, I know for a fact, if I get up there and I play George Benson, Give Me the Night, everyone's going to dance. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact, if I drop like a classic reggae song, everyone's going to dance. And so that to me is what D Nice is a testament of. He just got up there and he played like disco and R&B, and his Oprah and like half the country was in his comments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but D Nice is a testament to D Nice. And I think people tried to replicate it. Like, even Questlove was like trying to do like live streams, like and it was like just not, it was not D Nice. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like a unique person whose like skill set is like a skill set and network of humans like perfectly works for that. Like,
the job that he's done networking as a DJ for the past 10 to 15 years is unmatched. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's not a person he hasn't met that he tried to like not have a real relationship with. He's kept in contact with everybody. Every time you meet him in the club, he's smiling. He always leaves a good, warm impression on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And even if that's superficial, a lot of times that's all that people get. They just get superficial shit. You know what I'm saying? So when people wanted somebody to turn to during, you know, the beginning of the pandemic, they were like, yeah, of course, D-Nice. He's the nicest guy, you know, and he's a great DJ. And I think those two things just worked hand in hand. But like to Questlove, for instance, he's more of like a mysterious, you know, upper elite celebrity. He was a full-fledged celebrity.
Upper elite, I like
prior.
That. Upper elite.
Yeah, he was like Questlove was a full-fledged celebrity before the pandemic. He was not the everyday man, and he was not approachable. So it's impossible to flip your brand overnight to be the people's DJ like D-Nice. You know?
See, that's why I can't make it, bro. Like D-Nice superficial. I'm too real, you know. I'm too real. Like I can't break it like him. I'm too real. I'm too real.
Keeping it real.
Oh my God.
I love this.
What do you call it? Well, I mean, D-Nice continues to amaze. I feel like, what is he like? Is he on the cover of like Time magazine? Was he nominated?
I think he got nominated for Time Magazine Person of the Year.
Yeah.
Oh my God, for real?
I hope. I hope he wins.
Yeah, at least
that's major. No, I just didn't realize that he had permeated the mainstream like that.
Yeah.
That's
yo. This is in the zeitgeist.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's hosting like award shows like every other week, right? He's doing something like it's crazy. I just want him to keep going. I want to see how far he can take it. Like, if you know what I mean.
My business partner, his girlfriend is Chris Lighty's daughter, or his fiance, and they were gonna get married, and obviously COVID fucked it up. But D-Nice was like, he's like, so the DJ, because he loved, like, you know, they grew up together or whatever. He loves Chris Lighty's daughter Tiffany, and his, like, I guess somehow like his agent was like accidentally CC'd in an email, and she was like, "Oh, do they know that you're like accidentally BCC'd? Like, do they know that you have like millions of people watching your streams now? Like, what are they paying you? We have to renegotiate everything." And I'm sure he's getting mad cake now, like crazy cake off this shit, like way more than what he got before. Obviously, he intervened, like, no, it's my little.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. Like you're super mega now, but some of these gigs that you committed to, they're grandfathered. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say, I committed to doing like all of y'all's weddings in 2021, and for whatever reason, I blow up. Then I'm like, I'm still gonna do y'all weddings. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. That's it.
Nick's wedding, he was getting it for free, but it's just funny that he was accidentally BCC'd in that whole conversation, which is like, that's the reality. Like the dude is his profile raised, but also his potential income now is gonna like skyrocket because he's like made himself way more relevant through that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he single-handedly replaced the entire DJ industry. It's
been
consolidated into one man. Everyone's bookings have been channeled to one person. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's real. That's not even,
you know, Rap the Man and Bubble Wrap or whatever. God protect D-Nice. He is the entire DJ industry.
You got to start a DJ agency.
I'm like an expert Netflix, Hulu watcher. I've seen every 30 for 30. That's what I've gotten good at during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? But D-Nice, he's got all the gigs.
You cornered Netflix.
That's so fucking hilarious. You're absolutely right. Like, everybody wants D-Nice, and he needs to start an agency or something, right? Because he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to take all of these gigs. He's got to pass it down.
But can you imagine, can you imagine a booking right now and somebody's like, "We would love D-Nice for our event." Oh, he's not available, but I have MoMA for you. And they're like, "Who?
They'll wave you
Who
off.
the fuck is that?" Like, there's not even like a second person that's anywhere near.
Yo, they would change the date to the event just to get D-Nice.
You're right. It says like he's kind of like in the psyche of people who are not aware of any DJ, right? Before, you had the people who booked these events, they were familiar with DJs. They had a little Rolodex, 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 DJs, right? Now the people who are asking for him, they only know like top level celebrities, and he falls in that realm. So I don't know. I think that the aim is to be number 2 or number 3 or number 4 or just to be in that conversation so you can kind of get like the crumbs. We got to pick up the crumbs.
I'm cool with number 10, to be honest. Like, I'll take anything.
I mean, I think the top 5 are going to have to be black. So number 10 is a good number for you.
There you go. I'll take anything.
Oh, man. What do you call it, guys? I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we're hitting like the 2-hour mark, if not more.
No. We passed the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. But yo,
man.
I
don't know if this was a good podcast, but I'm really glad we all hung out and talked because that was cool.
I would much rather this not be a podcast. I'd much rather you don't publish this.
The premiere part just came out all wrong.
We're at 220.
It was like
they made Final Cut Pro.
It was like
sorry, Joe Maz. I called you an idiot. My bad.
It was like 20 minutes of like DJ Premier slander.
It was about 25, but yeah.
We got all. Yeah, we're sorry. Premier, you are the dopest. You're like all of our legends, like for real. So like, we're just.
But not like more than RZA, I guess, right? Like,
Who started that convo? Was it Ellie that started that convo?
Ellie, of course.
Shit. Oh no, it was Rocky Couch, of course.
Who else?
Who else?
He started out with slander. Yeah, started off
the rip.
He was like, I was surprised by how disappointed I was.
Yo, but let the record show where I stood. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you backpedaled fast. You were like, oh no.
I never backpedaled. I never pedaled nowhere in the first place.
All I know is Momo said fuck Premiere. Like
I heard that too.
Oh, here comes the fake news. Here comes the fake news brigade. Crooked's gonna edit the promo.
I used to be really sharp and listen to factual things until I heard the R.O.A.D podcast. Now I've
You've been indoctrinated.
Anything is possible.
This was dope, man. I really appreciate everyone coming through for the R.O.A.D podcast, Friendsgiving, especially you, Goldfinger. Your first Friendsgiving
sucks.
I swear, I'd be disappointed in Goldie all the time on social media. He fucking hates everything I do. He's like, yo, what's wrong with
Goldfinger, will you just do a DJ set just for us, please?
Yes.
Like, you don't have to do it for everybody.
Yeah.
Oh.
No way.
The most fun
right now because he doesn't want.
The most fun streams I saw, well, the best one I saw over all of this was Brucey B. It was like DJs who I never get to see. Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like the people who I was most excited to like catch a set, just because I never, for whatever reason, you never get to catch a set.
Live streams ever. Easy Mo B's fucking Time Machine.
Easy Mo B.
There was like some incredible.
That was my favorite part about it, was seeing people I otherwise haven't, seen DJ.
I would love.
My favorite part.
He was like Brucey B. Was the only person that in all of this that has inspired me to DJ. Like. I was just blown away by how good it was, and unfortunately I don't have a microphone, anything, so I can't copy it.
Not many
blatantly
people
try to rip it off over the mic with the echo.
I would love to see a Goldfinger stream and an Eli Escobar stream.
Just do it for us.
Yeah, pre-recorded.
You can't even see Ellie's head in this chat.
Yeah.
There's
no budget, but
what's it gonna take? What's it gonna take to get an Ellie stream? Or
I've done streams,
but like no. But like no. Would you do one? Fuck. Would you do it like a pre-recorded set where you just had a video camera and you recorded, or that would be like painful to do?
Oh, I have done it. I've done it.
Ellie's done like 7,000 radio shows.
The last one I did
recorded Ellie mixes out there.
The last one I did was the Major Lazer Festival.
Yeah,
I think that was the last one I did, and I set up my thing, and like something was wrong with my Zoom, and it was like I looked like one of those old Godzilla movies, like moving like right, and it was just horrible, and the sun was setting behind me. So I had sunlight blasting from behind. So all I was like a silhouette. I was like, man, whatever. The music's good. Then this guy MoMA sends me his. What do you think of this shit? He has helicopters flying over the beach.
He said helicopter.
Like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. I'll wait till the club's open.
Oh, shit.
Yo, I really wish I was in New York, because if I was in New York, I would set up all the equipment just so Goldie and Ellie and all these other motherfuckers could just stream from there. Because I feel like
actually a lot of clubs are having streams from the venue.
Yeah.
Like one of them is Good Room in Greenpoint. They've been doing streams from their venue. It would be kind of cool to set up one for like if you wanted to try to do one and come up with a lineup.
Yeah,
to make it happen.
I think the best room is LeBain because you could do it during the day.
Yeah.
And there's sunlight
and
coming in.
It looks amazing. Yeah.
Because like streaming in an empty club is sad.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with LeBain, you got like the Hudson River in the backdrop and the buildings or whatever.
Yeah.
And sunlight coming in. I recorded one for some festival and it came out pretty good.
Moma speaks from experience because he's done it.
Goldie, your birthday coming up, right?
The 16th of December.
Because I'm the 14th. I'm the 14th of December. I'm gonna hit you offline, man. I'm gonna hit you offline.
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about something.
That'll be great.
Create a master plan now.
That'll be great. I would love to see that.
He's already shut it down. Don't. It's
I want to hear you play.
He said, "Don't call me."
Yeah, no. We need that. We need that set.
I mean, if you're completely uninspired, like, what's the point? I mean, it's.
Wouldn't want to do it unless I really. Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, yo, man, it was really good to see you guys, man. And with the holidays coming up, I hope you guys are safe and stay in good health. And hopefully we could do a little bit more of these. Maybe not so many of us, but like I'll space you guys out. I just wanted to like see everybody and just check in with everyone and whatnot. So if you want to watch this episode on YouTube or view some of our older episodes as well, you can go to youtube.com/R.O.A.D podcasts. Like, comment, subscribe. We post new episodes every Thursday, y'all, without fail. So definitely come check out the new episodes on YouTube on Thursdays. And on Fridays on YouTube, we've been posting our older Sunday battles from Twitch. So Jamie and I have been working really hard to get these older battles on YouTube for you guys to watch. So every Friday, you can check these older battles on YouTube. And you can also check the newer battles on Sundays at twitch.tv/R.O.A.D podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitch and subscribe if you can. We just started a new Tuesday on Twitch as well called R.O.A.D Tuesdays. Basically, everyone in the crew alternates every week. You could check Never one week, Jamie one week, D Miles the next week, and myself the next week. Hopefully, we'll start incorporating some of the homies and have them do some guest spots as well on Tuesdays. So definitely check that out. Twitch.tv/R.O.A.D podcast. And thank you guys for coming through. And peace, man. Peace.
All right,
guys.
thanks,
Peace, guys.
Safe,
Good to see all you guys.
Stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Yes, sir.
See you later.
Happy New Year.